Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Holy shit, it's been a bit. Oh, fuck. Wait, my mic. Okay. Let me sort volume. Because I feel like that's loud as fuck. But, I can't be sure. Hello, how are we doing? I'm wearing my I'm fucking depressed glasses. So, yeah. Things have been rough. I've been going through it. So there you go. Oh, wait, there's no music? Oh, I'm so sorry. Wait, what did I... Is the mic too loud? It shouldn't be. There you go. Try that. Music's there now. Is mic okay? Are we good? Maybe I just shouted. Listen to the stream? Maybe I just shouted. That sounds fine. Listen to the stream?
Thank you for subbing, you sassy little pog champ.
Turn it down, buddy. I think it's on you. Thank you for the resubs, by the way. Gray, Michael, and JM6205. I really appreciate that. So, let's just preface this stream. This kind of came out of nowhere. I haven't streamed for fucking ages, but I thought I would because this was supposed to be a Patreon video. Right? I was recording a Patreon video, which was a response to a response someone made to my AC1 retrospective, because I thought it would be fun. But I got 5 minutes in, and I was getting mad. I was getting mad, and I was like, I can't sit. So the response video is an hour long. If you want to watch it, you can. Obviously, I'll drop a link here in chat for you.
Thank you for subbing, sassy little.
It's from this guy, casual mode. The only reason I know of... Thank you so much, Blitz. Benny Movies. To you too. The only reason I know of this is because... It's not because it's, like, blown up and, like, loads of people are watching it and now, like, everyone's talking about it or anything like that. He emailed me beforehand to say, like, oh, I want to make this response video to your video. Is that okay? Which, first of all, no one ever has to ask. It is absolutely okay. If you ever want to make a response video to anything I've ever made, you absolutely can just do that. That's totally cool. And he then sent it to me when he posted it, because I was like, if you make it, then send it over. I'd like to watch it, because, you know, why not? And when I say I'm getting mad, I don't mean in a way where, like, I'm actually mad. Like, you know, to preface, like, I don't care, and full respect to the guy, like, it's whatever. He says the same to me at the start of the video, before he starts ripping me to shreds, which is crazy. So, like, in real life, don't care, doesn't matter. But, like, in, like, a critical, you know, like, YouTuber sense, like, I was getting mad. So it's going to be funny, I think, to go through this. I got 5 minutes in, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. It's driving me insane. So we're gonna watch. We're gonna see. We're gonna try and get through it. But yeah, it's wild. So this is a response to my AC1 video from 2023. So there you go. So it's almost 3 years old now. And I'm gonna have to sort out another Patreon video. So and like, yeah, exactly, Viridian. I need viewers' support to get through it. That's exactly. I was like, I cannot sit here for an hour on my own. I could do it. I was like, I need people to talk to so we could be like, holy shit. When are we doing Silk Song? Hopefully soon. You can think of this stream as me slowly slipping my way back into streaming. But hang on, let's make this full screen. But oh shit, I've just opened up fucking any video converter. Fucking Christ above. But yeah, my idea was what I wanted to do was stream my ranking, or not ranking, sorry, voting on the Game Awards, and then start Silksong that stream. And I want to do that obviously before the Game Awards, so hopefully I'll start Silksong in the next week or so. So James realized November is over and wasted no time. Exactly. Right, hold on. Okay. When's Persona 4 stream happening? Look, let's just calm down. Let's settle down. Can you react to my response to your disgusting Lies of P video? My Lies of P video is my best video, though. So I don't think I could take that kind of response. Slipping way back in is much better. Yeah, you're right. I realized that as I was saying it. I just hope no one will pick me up on it, to be honest with you. Can't wait for the yearly fever dream of watching you stream the Game Awards till 2 in the morning. I can't wait. Doesn't it start at like 1 a.m. or something? So we're going to be there till like 5 or something? That always happens. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Wish the AC3 wasn't delisted. Is AC3 delisted? What? Really? Off where? That's crazy. If true. I have the original AC3. I finally got it working on my PC, so I can for when I play it for the video. It's gonna be sick watching an event with no good reveals. I can't wait. It's gonna be sick. They replaced it with the remastered version. Wait, really? Oh, the original's delisted. Unless you already have it. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, fuck that. Ubisoft fucking awesome. You're doing an AC3 retrospective. I am, because we hit 1,000 patrons, which was the reward, the goal. So we are doing it. I am doing it. I'm currently in the phase of getting together a reading list, so that's where I'm at so far. But I'll start work early 2026 after every... Okay. I'm not in the mood. I'm not. I just, you know... There you go. Oh yeah, they did. Wait, someone did like do a. You can get the original version now, can't you? Someone like put it together as like a package you can download or something. I think Leo K retweeted it or something. Yeah, actually, I knew that. I don't know why I said that I didn't, because I thought I did. Right, let's watch this fucking video. Should I play as the original remastered? The original, all the way. Remastered's a piece of shit. The only good thing about the remaster is like some of the quality of life improvements, but it's just not worth it for what it loses. I think like the best part is like the HUD and free aiming with a pistol. But like even then, isn't the fact that you can't free aim with a pistol in like a super easy way kind of good? Because I don't know. I don't care. I will allow myself to care when I do the thing. Free aim with bow. That's better than with the pistol. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Oh my god, Gridania? Holy shit. Right. Let's begin. So, I've already watched the first 3 minutes of this. Oh, sorry, 6 minutes of this. And I got so mad that I couldn't keep going. So, again, thank you all, Flashes, for the sub. I appreciate the sub. I mean, it means a lot to me. Let me just pop out the Twitch chat and drag it over here so I can fucking see it better. Oop, it's big. Oh, no. Oh, I've crashed everything. Wait, hello? Are we good? Did I break stream? No. We're good. Don't worry. Sorry, I didn't break stream. I just got a bit scared. Really, my chat is here. So actually, I should be fine. I should look over there. So we're good. Holy shit, Ollie's here. What the fuck? Ain't gonna stick around. I'm sorry for getting out of bed. Have to go back to work training some old people. Have a good one, Chase. He's gonna be the new Laser's rival to replace your... Maybe. We need to get into this, otherwise we're gonna be here all night. Have you ever done a video talking about how you approach the process of making your retrospectives? For example, if you were doing one on an AC game, how do you read the novel, then play the game after, or just play the game? Do you take notes while playing? I have been considering doing like a Patreon. Well, actually, for the AC3 video, I'm gonna make a full Patreon, like, I don't want to say documentary, that's cringe, like a behind the scenes log of everything, to sort of show the entire process from start to finish, which I think will be cool. But yeah, like for the AC4 video, for example, I read all the books that I read for the video, then I played the game, then I read the novel, and that entire time, like, I made notes. Like, I have like pages and pages of notes that I made. And like in the books, you can see all my annotations. Like the books, like the Republic of Pirates by Colin Woodard is like annotated to fuck, with sticky notes and like scrawling on the pages and underlines and highlights and all that shit. It's fun. Okay, let's start this video, shall we? And like I said, if you want to watch it, you can. I'll link it in chat. Go and give it a watch if you want. We'd be getting all the feathers in AC3? Maybe. I don't know. Does it give you anything? I don't remember what it gives you that outfit, doesn't it? Maybe. Nah, probably not. I don't know. I can use my guide for it. Right. Okay. Oh, God. Elvis texted me like a million times. Hold on. What the fuck? Yes. Okay, sorry. Fucking Christ above. Okay, let's get going.
If you were watching this, then you should probably know beforehand that the video this video is a response to is 4 hours long. So as required rating goes, it's pretty intensive. It's also really excellently made, and I do recommend it out of my own appreciation for it. I've made one video essay about Assassin's Creed so far, and it's not nearly so in-depth or long-winded, and my range as far as the series goes is much more limited. I did stop after Black Flag, remaining more
Can't believe I'm willingly watching this again.
Player, and I have not regretted that decision since. But you'll pry Assassin's Creed 1 from my cold, dead hands to give you an idea of how attached I am to it.
So this guy loves AC1, right? Let's just start right there. This guy loves this game, right? Let's just get that out of the way, right? We've established that. This guy loves this game. So what you would expect is that he knows what the game is about. You would expect that. Let's just, in case he watches this, which I apologize, the video's a bit quiet. Oh, I can turn up the desktop audio if you want. I have no ill will against this guy. The same things he says about me apply to him. If I rip into him the same way he rips into me, that's just how it be. He's fine. And also, don't send hate to him. Don't dislike his video. If anything, leave it a like, or don't leave it anything. Don't like dislike it, and don't leave him like shitty fucking hate comments or anything like that. That's the last thing that I want. I think this is all in good. You know, we want to be a good sport about it. It's part of doing essays is that someone can make an essay against your essay where they disagree, and I think this is absolutely fine, by the way. So cool.
Even if the direction the series went in ended up leaving me dissatisfied, I am still head over heels in love with the story of this game, and I love watching content creators dive in and realize that no, the series didn't just get good when 2 came out in 2009. In particular, I'm creating this video as a response to Lasers Z, or maybe just Lasers,
yeah, that's my name,
a prominent Assassin's Creed content creator, and specifically his video, Assassin's Creed 1, a misunderstood masterpiece, the ultimate retrospective and analysis. A fantastic work, but one that nonetheless left me with a lot of things to say, because while I do think the take on the game presented is respectful and appreciative of its art, I do think there are several critical misunderstandings presented within it.
So when he said this, I was wondering, right, if... Does he... Because before I got into the video, I didn't actually know what he disagreed with. All he told me was that he disagreed with several things I said, and what I assumed was he disagreed with my praise of the game, because most people do. Most people think this game's kind of shit, and so when I got that email, I was like, oh, he thinks I'm being too kind to it, like too good to it. But when I got to this point in the video, I thought, oh, maybe it's the opposite? Maybe he has issue with the things I criticize, actually, because he loves it so much. And my video is so, like, in support of AC1 and, you know, in its corner, that I was like, oh, maybe it's the opposite? But we'll find out.
If you were a watcher of Laser Z or Mr. Welford himself, I would like to preface this with an obvious disclaimer.
He decided that's the one that's probably correct.
I've never done a response video before, and whether I do one again or not will be a matter for the future, but I wanted to do this here and now. People do tell me I can have a condescending tone of voice, or that I can be rude on occasion. I'm not saying that's my character, I'm saying I've been known to come off
You just legal named
So I want to emphasize beforehand that I do not mean any ill will or disrespect for this content creator. On the slim chance this video takes off, Please don't enter this man's comment section and be a pain in the ass. I'm making this video because I liked his, not because I hated it. So, without further yapping, let me get into it.
Because
I think that's fair.
Fucking adore Assassin's Creed.
I hate this joke, by the way. I don't like how I executed the joke. I would change it now, but that's fine. I just don't like that it's being the center of attention just here. So there's that. There's a lot of comedy in the AC1 video that I don't like. Honestly, I think that's the hardest thing to write, like long-lasting, funny things. Or maybe that's just me looking back at my stuff and being like, oh, it's cringe now. But like I still get comments on like my Horizon Forbidden West video saying it's funny. So maybe people do still find things funny, but sometimes I look back at things and I'm like, that's annoying. I like my analysis in this video, and I like some of the jokes, but there's some that just don't land for me. I think the companion video I just did this on AC Chronicles and Bloodlines is funnier. It's really good. I rewatched that the other day. It's great.
The game from 2007, not the heavily flawed franchise at large that murdered my family and is wanted by the police in 13 countries.
Same, dude. Same.
Look at us. We're on the same page.
The major issue that kept cropping up throughout the video that I discerned was the reading of the assassins, the characterization of the Brotherhood and its ideals, not to mention the characters who prop them up. Just within this one video essay, I saw you read a lot more into the assassins than was ever really intended by the game, and create narratives that weren't actually there. Saying it like this makes it sound like I don't genuinely believe Assassin's Creed does have a narrative about the assassins and Templars, which it does. I just believe that the most prominent idea it raises, that assassins have to truly understand the forces of the world and the nature of man to destroy evil, is best read in that simpler fashion, whereas I think what you did was travel far further down the morally grey reading. The way you present the assassins almost comes off as villainization.
But it's a parallel in the sense where kids are indoctrinated into the assassins, which is completely opposed.
I mean, they are indoctrinated. Listen, I don't think he knows what the word indoctrinated means, and that's fine. You can just wait and see what he says next.
Their ideals. It's yet again another subtle critique of the Brotherhood, both in the Animus and outside of the Animus. They seek freedom, free will.
Sleep tight, Mac.
They force their followers to follow. It's such an interesting concept.
I don't know why I said that so
Dude,
genuinely.
You have obviously played a lot more Assassin's Creed than I have, not to mention done extensive research into
That's
the historical
dirty.
aspect.
He did me dirty there.
So
that was really upsetting that he said that, actually. I don't like that. You've obviously played a lot more Assassin's Creed than I have. That's like a backhanded, yeah, that's mean. Okay, that's fine.
A lot more Assassin's Creed than I have, not to mention done extensive research into the historical aspect. So maybe I'm wrong and this is laid out in one of those spin-off games I haven't played, or the comics, or whatever. But you really
Bro, I don't read the fucking go fuck yourself. I don't read the fucking comics, cunt.
emphasized the word indoctrination during that whole spiel when...
Okay, I didn't emphasize the word indoctrination. I said it. I didn't emphasize it, but it's
As
okay.
far as I can tell, Al-Mualim's Brotherhood did not at any point enforce obedience nor adherence. Yeah, in the modern day, Desmond implies the
See, this is the thing. I don't think he knows what indoctrination means.
assassins are incredibly sheltered and strict, but also in the present day, the Templars can literally just snatch you off the street if you're not careful. As far as the assassins as a whole go, particularly with Altair's era, there's no evidence whatsoever to say that assassins couldn't stop being assassins at any time and just...
I didn't say that. That's not what indoctrination means. You can be indoctrinated and stop doing the thing you've been indoctrinated into. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Altair was indoctrinated into the Brotherhood. Desmond was also indoctrinated and left. He just refound the Brotherhood again. That's like Desmond's whole story. Being indoctrinated is being trapped by your own mind based on what you were raised to believe, right? Like, that's what indoctrination is. It's not being forcibly chained to the desk that you have to work at. That's not indoctrination. Like, Altair wasn't forcibly kept inside Masyaf Castle physically. He was mentally imprisoned by his indoctrination. Like, that's what it means. Yeah, exactly. It's being led to believe, since you are a baby, that this is the way things are. Altair's story is him breaking free of that indoctrination and deciding to change the Brotherhood he was indoctrinated into to be something more freeing and more forgiving and more accepting. Yeah, right. So just so we're all on the same page here.
leave. For trying to present this as a multifaceted scenario, you're doing a lot to try and present the assassins as basically a cult. and that isn't helped by the way you describe Malik.
That's what
Malik,
they are.
however, uses the creed as a shield, a crutch. He sees nothing but the creed, and through this line of thought, it blinds him. Both Altair and Malik have the same fatal flaw, a misunderstanding of what the Assassin's Creed truly means. However, in Altair, it manifests as an arrogance and superiority to those who blindly follow the rules of the Brotherhood, and to Malik it manifests as a blinding loyalty to a set of beliefs he doesn't truly understand either.
You have extrapolated.
Am I wrong? This is I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, I feel like this is what made me so mad when I got like 6 minutes in. I felt like I was being gaslit. Like, how can you be so confidently wrong?
An entire character arc here from 2 scenes. Really just
No, just let's keep going.
And in fact, just 1 line of dialogue.
Stop hiding behind words, Malik. You wield the creed and its tenets like some shield.
You do it again all the way at the end of the video, 4 hours in.
Knowing Jubair is headed for Arsuf, Altair pretty confidently wants to race there. Malik, however, is still cowering behind the creed, behind his master, not willing to take the initiative, something that was one of his flaws from the very start.
Except that it's not. This is literally the only time Malik does this. His behavior at the beginning was not cowardice or hiding behind the creed. He was trying to keep Altair from making preventable mistakes that put their mission at risk. I know 2 things can be true.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Hang on, give me a sec. So first of all, he's saying, oh my god, I just don't even know. It's one of those things where I find it really difficult to respond because it's so obvious in my head, but I'm trying to like articulate it. So he says that I've extrapolated an arc that doesn't exist, right? Which I haven't done, because Malik does start one way and end another. There is an arc. Now, there could be a critique made that the arc is shallow. That would be fair if that's the critique that you were making, but that's not the critique you're making. You're critiquing that I have made it up. You're critiquing that I have invented the arc, which isn't true, because he starts one way and ends another, and that ending is informed by the conversations with Altair across the game in the Bureau. There are multiple points where each of these characters learn from each other, and the point that I make here too, using these lines of dialogue that he has picked up, are not even in I don't even say that it's an arc. I'm using it to illustrate the way that Altair and Malik are completely polar opposite ends of a spectrum. The way that they have to end up meeting in the middle to form the sort of bond they do that leaves Assassin's Creed 1 by the end point. Is like Altair has to come down from his high horse, down from his pedestal, quell his arrogance, and Malik has to come out from behind the shield that he's hiding behind, and they have to meet in the middle. That's the point of the story. So it's so strange because, like, this is not... Yeah, exactly. Like, this, what he's saying here as well is not a critique of my video. It's just I don't know, like, I'm so confused, man. I don't know what he's saying. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like he wants it to be more shallow. It's like, oh, I'm sorry for analyzing art. What are we doing? Like, man, I love this game, but you think it's clever. It's not clever. I like it because it's not clever. What do you mean? What's going on? There is a critique to be made that Malik's arc is not the forefront of the story and isn't deep and doesn't have enough substance for you to, like, emotionally latch onto it. That is a fair critique to make, right? But I'm not saying, that's just a critique of the game. That's not a critique of what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying that Malik is one way and he does end another. That is a fact. That is true. So what are we doing? It's a critique of your interpretation. He's saying you've created an arc where there isn't one. Yeah, but that's not true, though. Which, okay, yeah, fair enough. He's saying that I've created an arc where there isn't one, but, like, it's not true. Because there is an arc. Literally, he uses clips where, like, the clip that is playing when he says it, Where is it? Where the fuck is the clip?
Manifests as a blinding loyalty.
Character arc.
This clip! This fucking clip is the end of his arc! This is where Malik is changed! There's an arc! He goes from being one way to being another way, facilitated by the conversations with Altair! It's an arc! It might not be a deep arc, but it's an arc! What are we doing?
Confidently willing to take
This is literally the only time Malik
of his flaws from the very start. Behind his pretty
and all the way at the end of the video, 4 hours in.
Knowing Robert is headed for Arsuf, Altair pretty confidently wants to race there. Malik, however, is still cowering behind the Creed, behind his master, not willing to take the initiative, something that was one of his flaws from the very start.
Except that it's not. This is literally the only time Malik does this. His behavior at the beginning was not cowardice or hiding behind the Creed. He was trying to keep Altair from making preventable mistakes that put their mission at risk.
Yeah.
I know two things can be true at once.
And I agree, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, I agree with that. I didn't say that wasn't true. Like, I don't understand. Like, does he think I'm just agreeing with one of the characters and he's annoyed at my position with my own, like, internal philosophies? I don't understand, because I'm just analyzing the art. Like, I'm saying that Malik is a flawed character who sometimes does things that are correct and sometimes does things that are harmful to himself and those around him, the same as Altair does, just in different ways. So, like Malik, like, I don't think I ever said, like, what Malik says to Altair at the start is wrong. He is right in that instance, but it's the fact that the reason he is right is because he hides behind the Creed, and it just so happens that hiding behind the Creed was the right thing to do in that specific instance where Altair was very wrong. But you get to the very end of the game, and Malik is holding the same ideology, and it's actually harming him, whereas Altair is correct. And it just goes to show that the ideology that caused him to make that decision, to speak that way to Altair in Solomon's Temple, is flawed. It's not that what he did in that moment is flawed, it's that the ideology behind it is flawed, and Malik has to learn to overcome that.
And my reading doesn't necessarily negate yours, but at no point does Assassin's Creed imply that Malik's understanding of said creed is insufficient, let alone as anemic as Altair's. And
I don't think I said it's insufficient. I don't know if that was my argument, but, I mean...
The action in the second scene, while obvious in its denial, is still understandable, given that Altair is telling him to mistrust the man who essentially raised them. You're trying to build a narrative and then say the game
Don't
is
worry,
creating
Maurice, we're literally 5 minutes in.
a narrative.
And then the game sets out to critique the Creed itself.
But it doesn't. It really doesn't. If it did, I wouldn't mind it, but you're way ahead of where Assassin's Creed 1 is with this. This is a thing you do throughout the video.
Do you understand what this was like? Sitting on my own in this room? I'm being gaslit by some guy. It's what the whole thing's about that. The whole thing's about that. What are we doing?
Try and say that the game is drawing attention to some flaw with the Assassins or the Creed.
No, there's no flaw here. What do you mean? This isn't flawed. He stabs him. This is the scene where he stabs him.
But 7 or 8 times out of 10, it isn't. And in all of those times, you're reducing the Assassins as a whole to their central creed, and forgetting that there's a lot more to them as an organization and as a way of life than just the central maxim.
But the game is about that, though. It's this game is called Assassin's Creed. It's not called the Assassins who are in the Brotherhood. Yeah, you're right. Technically, he doesn't stab me. He does just gaslight me to think he's been stabbed. That is actually very true. But yeah, like, he's using a clip here that literally undermines his entire point, is that I don't disagree the Assassins are more than their creed. It is a collection of individuals, but the game does not explore that collection of individuals. It explores the creed. That's what the game is about. Because you've got this scene here with Abbas. The game doesn't explore Abbas or his relationship to Altair. The only reason Abbas exists, and the only reason he addresses Altair in this scene, is to more concretely show the player what Altair believes is the most important part of the Assassin's Creed. That's what this scene is doing. It shows Altair's viewpoint, his outlook, and the way that he uses his rank in the Brotherhood as his own sort of validation for him being right. That's the only thing the scene does. It doesn't show the individual aspects of both of these people and the nuanced perspective as two individuals as part of a Brotherhood. It is only there to reinforce Altair's perspective on his place within the Brotherhood and what the Creed means to him personally. The game is called Assassin's Creed. Remember that when you've been using it a lot? I'm really scared. Now you're extrapolating. Fuck! Ah! I'm going crazy!
The way you talk about these supposed critiques feels like it was derived from the wider Assassin's Creed franchise than simply what the game presents here, which I think is the most reasonable cause to assume.
No! This is... Fuck! Maurice, thank you so much for the 12 months. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck! Okay. No, because actually, the only fucking games that critique the Assassin's Creed is what? This one, Bits of Revelations, the audio logs in Valhalla, and that's fucking it! So where am I getting it from, if not this game? Ah! It's the critique of the Assassin's Creed in this game is core to what the game is about, because Altair reforms the Brotherhood because he realizes the creed that he's been serving his entire life is flawed. That's what the game is about!
Thank you for subbing, you sussy little hog champ.
I feel... thank you so much, Furious Coco, for the 55 months. I feel like this has got to be a troll. I feel like this is bait. Like, this is why I stopped the Patreon video, like, midway through, is because I got to a point where I was like, wait, I feel like I'm being rage baited. I don't think this is genuine. I just don't... I'm struggling to believe this is genuine. Let's see. It's so fucking warm in here. Jesus fucking Christ. Honestly, I think it's just medication I'm on. I think it's fucking my ability to regulate my my body temperature. Okay. I turned up the AC. Let's keep going.
But in examining this one game, it's leading you to extremely bizarre readings, especially when it comes to Al-Mualim and the Assassins. Don't get me started on that spiel about castles.
I find it interesting
this is where I
how
stopped.
The castle, a symbol of arrogance and control, is diametrically opposed to the ideals of the assassins. Of course, this is done on purpose.
I don't understand this. Does he not know what the word diametrically means? I don't understand. Hold on, I gotta reply to these texts. Oh my god. I just, like, I don't understand what this means. Like, I'm confused. Is he saying that he knows what the word diametrically means and he just doesn't think that applies? To such an extent that he's like, what the F? Or does he just not know what diametrically means? I mean, he didn't know what indoctrinated means, so maybe. Like, I just don't, like, I'm saying that, let's just keep going until the end of the castle section, I guess.
And it's designed the real life of the game to explore this very idea. The assassins seek freedom and say they work for the people, yet they live in a larger-than-life fortress from which they wage war, essentially.
Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? Castles don't represent anything. They aren't diametrically opposed.
Architecture and art doesn't mean anything. Nothing means anything. Art doesn't mean anything. What is going on? Oh my god. Holy shit. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Oh my god. Oh my god. This can't be real. This can't be real. What are we talking about? He goes, what are you talking? He goes, brother, what are you talking about? Castles don't represent anything. What do you mean castles don't represent anything? Oh my god. Things are not used in art for any reason. They just exist. Everything is incidental. Oh my god. What are we doing? That's fucking crazy. Oh my god, I'm losing it. Holy shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you've all got it. Like, I feel like we're all on the same page here. This is crazy. It's crazy too because I'll tell you, literally, like, There's no way this is real because, like, even just in Assassin's Creed, castles are like. Not even, you know what, actually, not even in art. Just, like, you don't even have to have an analytical bone in your body, right? To understand what a castle represents
sassy little pog champ.
In society. What are we talking about? Like, a palace, a castle. These things represent things independent of art. Just in life. If you see a castle, you know what it represents. You can link castle to a thing. To an idea in your mind. Like, are they just, like, to believe this, you genuinely have to believe that castles were built by accident. Like, nobody built a castle for any reason ever. They just sort of did it randomly. I'm actually going crazy. What are we, what? Like, not even in art, not even in games, in film, in literature, none of that. In real life, castles represent something. Like, when you see a castle, you immediately know, oh, someone rich lived there. Oh, that was for waging war. Oh, the peasants definitely weren't allowed inside that. That was for important people and soldiers. You know that just like, independently of any possible analytical or artistic or any analytical skill like that, right? You just know that by default. So to sit there and tell me that in a piece of art, the use of a castle represents nothing... What are we doing? What is going on? That's fucking insane. Holy shit. Darkness, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. And we did just get a sub a minute ago. Did I say thank you for that? I feel like I was just going on a spiel and I forgot to say thank you for the sub. Oh, I'm scrolling and I cannot find it. We definitely got one, right? Oh, Fake Rubon B, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Dude. I think he just didn't like the use of the word diametrically. Yeah, and then he went off on one about castles don't represent anything. He just got mad. I don't know. Like, I think there's like, if you genuinely agree that castles aren't diametrically opposed to the Assassin's Creed, then that's a critique. That's something to explore. But he doesn't. Instead, he explores the castles don't mean anything. Oh my god, dude. We're 6 minutes in. Okay.
To anything. It's just a building, man. Furthermore, the fact that there is a...
Dude. Okay, hang on. I'm being trolled. This is a troll.
Of course, this is done on purpose. The castle made even grander in its design than real life for the game to explore this very idea. The assassins seek freedom and say they work for the people.
I think this is rage bait.
A larger-than-life fortress from which they wage war, essentially.
Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? Castles don't represent anything. They aren't diametrically opposed to anything. It's just a building, man. Furthermore, the fact that there is a castle here doesn't serve to examine some great hypocrisy on the part of the assassins. It was 1191, dude. The internet didn't exist. If you wanted to raise an organization, especially one where professional killers reside, it's gonna have to have walls and space and some guards. This is literally the only way the assassins could function in that era. And speaking of Masyaf...
But what Masoon says is reasonable.
I'm going crazy. Free yourself from the idea of being rage bait early. We cannot keep wondering it is not. I think it is. I think it is. I think this feels like the kind of bait that exists to make me sit here and unravel it for entertainment purposes of, lol, we got him. We've got him on a fucking AC tangent where he sits and talks for hours about things that don't matter. Lol, we fucking got him. We made him waste his time. That's what it feels like. Surely not, right? This will be a VOD. Yeah, it will. The internet didn't exist. Dude, what is he talking about? The internet didn't exist. Wait. I'm so confused. But that's not true. You could have a secret group. You could have a community of systems of safe houses. You could have basically what they have in the later games. The options of secret community bases are not only castles or Discord. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I am just too dumb, yeah. Hang on. I need to go back to that to understand what he was saying about the fucking... about the internet.
Just a building, man. Furthermore, the fact that there is a castle here doesn't serve to examine some great hypocrisy on the part of the assassins. It was 1191, dude. The internet...
No, it's the castle... Okay, the castle doesn't exist to examine the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy of the game's narrative is born from the fact that historically they had a castle. The castle is then exaggerated in the game artistically to exaggerate the hypocrisy the game is extrapolating artistically in the narrative. That's what the game is doing. Like, yes, the assassins had a castle in real life, but this game is critiquing that idea that someone that would fight for freedom and for the people needs to live in a fortress. That's the idea, and it is obviously about that because Altair literally writes that in his codex, and you could say that, oh, that's in AC2, so it doesn't matter, but AC2 was made by Patrice as well and written by Corey May. The idea was planted in this game and explored in AC2. They are directly connected. I don't ever talk about that in this, but, like, they are. This is so weird. I'm actually losing it. What the fuck?
It didn't exist. If you wanted to raise an organization, especially one where professional killers reside, it's gonna have to have walls and space and some guards.
Yeah, but just because it logically makes sense doesn't mean it doesn't thematically serve a purpose. Like, both things can be true at the same time. Like, I don't necessarily disagree. I think you could raise an organization like this from literally the shadows and just, like, among the people and in secret. You definitely could do that. But, okay, sure, like, yeah, most of the time you are going to need, like, a fortress for, you know, military-related activities, even to this degree. But that doesn't like, negate the fact that it can have thematic and symbolic value regardless. Like, it can be both things. It can be a castle because they needed one out of necessity, but that can still represent something narratively too. It's both things. Imagine if Genghis Khan had the internet. He'd raise his army through Discord. It'd be great. Masyaf is, like, such a symbol. It's such a symbol. That's crazy to not believe. That's so bizarre. It's not that what he's saying is wrong, is that he's refusing to see that there's any deeper or thematic implications going on. He seems to think the story is only presenting practical issues and nothing more. Yeah, it's so strange. It's like both things. Like, it can be both. Yeah, like, there is a practical angle to this. It makes perfect sense logically. That's why it existed in real history. But it's using that for a thematic basis. I have to say, I find it odd how at the start the guy was talking about being respectful, and then when I was way to say, brother, what the fuck are you talking about? When you think about it, him not being able to see that fits with the theme of the video of not understanding your retrospective. Yeah. That's true. Oh, God. They didn't have fiber optic running through the walls, mate. Yeah, around that, please. What did you think? This is exactly what I was thinking as I was watching this. So this is as far as I got when I was watching it on Patreon, which is crazy. I was wondering, this is exactly the question I was asking, is what does he think the game is about? I need to know what he thinks the game is about, because if it's not about any of these things, what does he think it's about? Like, well, yeah, like, what does he think the game is trying to say if it's not this? I don't understand. Let's see.
This is literally the only way the assassins could function in that era. And speaking of Masyaf...
But what Masoon says is reasonable. Al-Mualim did cause the people here to fall into harm's way. The hubris of working from a castle among a village is what brought harm to those who live here.
See, you literally just made that up. Masoon does not say anything even remotely...
No, it's just an analysis of the things that are happening. What do you mean? It's just inference. It's implied that people that, like, it's not even implied. It's that you can deduct that if the castle wasn't here, if the assassins did not set up their castle in the town of Masyaf, the people wouldn't have fallen into harm's way. That's obvious. It's like, what are we, like, what? This is crazy. This guy would hate the Green Knight. Is Resh gonna go on YouTube? Yeah. It'll be on It's Last Boy VODs. For sure. Oh my god.
Resembling this, or mention the castle at all, either in his preaching or his interrogation. Because, again, if we must discuss the castle for some reason, what the fuck do you want them to do? Hang out in tents? You keep mischaracterizing the scene even further, despite the...
So does he think every game post-AC1 is bad because the assassins don't work in a castle? Like, what do we mean? Like, the assassins work in just, like, random houses in the streets in AC2. Like, they work out of, like, a small building on an island in Rome in Brotherhood. They literally work out of, like, a random house in Revelations. What are we talking about? Do you hate those games? What do we mean? If it's only reasonable for them to work out of a castle, what do you mean? What did I want them to do? I didn't want, like, I don't my thoughts on the game, like, using the idea of the flawed assassins doing things that put civilians in harm's way, like, it's not a reflection of my opinions of what you should or shouldn't. They're not real. It's fiction. I'm so confused. They do work out of bureaus in AC1. Yeah, true. Even outside of Masyaf, they work out of little bureaus in the middle of the sea. Like, they don't have to work in a castle. Oh my god. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. What's going on?
The fact that I know you know what they actually say.
Al-Mualim goes on to prove this when he kills the man for speaking out against him, for having free will to oppose the assassins, although not directly cause harm to others.
Except that's not why he kills Masoon at all. You can literally hear Al-Mualim say that he stands accused of betraying the Brotherhood and opening the way for the Templar attack, which he admits to.
You stand accused of betraying our Brotherhood and opening the way for...
Yes, but the idea is that he's rebelling against the people that he sees as tyrannical, which the assassins should allow him to do. The fact that they killed just this random fucking guy who has no political influence, who has no, like, has no wealth, he's just some fucking dude. They kill him purely because he dared to fight against the rulers in the castle that allowed them to become a target. Like, this is the creative work in the castle to serve the light. This is crazy.
For our enemies. How do you answer to these charges?
I deny nothing. I'm proud of what I did. My only regret is that they failed.
And this whole scene, like, does he think this scene serves no purpose? This scene shows that the people that the assassins rule don't agree with them all the time. That they actually think there are issues. And that Al-Mualim will not see it. He won't listen to them. He just immediately, if anyone dissents, you're gone. You're dead. I'm blocking you out. And Altair sort of serves that. But over the course of the game, learns that that's not actually right. That we need to be accepting of all people, even if they disagree with us to that extent. Which is why he acts the way that he does in Revelations when he comes back. But obviously, we're not talking about anything outside of this game, so that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Let's not talk about that, because apparently, you know, we can't draw from later entries. Which, yeah, fair enough, we can't if we're talking about just this game. But There you go. Nah, we're not close to a written response. I can't write anymore. My brain's broken. So, God. 3 tenets of the castle's creed: stay your away from the stone of the castle, hide in the castle, and be one with the castle. Never compromise the castle. That's good. Oh, God. I said this in the Discord as well, but watching this video just showed me once again how amazing AC1 is, and how professional you are in your writing and critical analysis in comparison to this guy. I mean, fair enough. I don't want to shit on this guy other than like laughing at the things that he's saying. Like, I hope, you know, I wish him well with his videos and stuff. What happens if the castle stays in the castle? Hide in the castle. Top 5 tenets of the Brotherhood. Hide in the castle. That really got me. Fuck. Okay. No. No. They weren't supposed to let him live. This is not my own, like, opinion. This is just the situation. I am just analyzing the situation. The opposition between the opinions of Masoon and Al-Mualim. The fact that there are oppositions in opinions between the leader of the Assassin Brotherhood, the ruler of this castle on the hill in this village, and the people that live in the village. I'm analyzing the difference in their opinion. I don't agree with either, and I'm not saying that he was necessarily wrong to kill him. I can understand why he would kill him, but that is a symbol and an expression of Al-Mualim, like, punishing anyone who shows dissent. That's the point. Did you really not think this is how this would go? Hey, look, it's been a while since I've streamed. I guess we're in for a stream. Fucking hell. I'm gonna have to get another drink in a minute, I think. Hang on. Ella's texting me. I thought that's how it would go, but I thought you do it in the 4 walls of your office alone. Well, I started to, and then I got mad, so I couldn't continue. I'm glad that's not the case, though, if that wasn't clear.
His
okay,
sin
that's
isn't
good.
believing differently than Al-Mualim or the Assassins. It's getting a lot of people killed in extremely direct fashion because he opened that freaking gate. While
Yes, because he's rebelling against the tyrannical leader of the Brotherhood. I'm not saying that he's right for doing that, but I'm saying I understand why someone would decide to take extreme measures in a situation where they believed it was the right thing to do. That, you know, maybe some of these innocents are going to have to die so that we can get rid of these tyrannical rulers on the hill that we don't like, that put us in harm's way. That's the point he's making. I'm not saying that he's wrong, and I'm not saying that Al-Mualim is necessarily wrong for killing him. I'm not making a comment on my own morals. I'm analyzing the events of the story.
Altair got all the slain assassins and civilians in Masyaf killed indirectly through his arrogance and thoughtlessness compromising the Brotherhood. Masoon played into that error and took direct action to make that happen, breaking the very same tenet and even saying he was proud of it. The craziest thing about this is that you didn't need to edit the context of this character dying. His preachy speech has him try to tell the citizens of Masyaf that Al-Mualim has betrayed his people and is lying to them. That part specifically was very true, as the end of the game would show. You could have remarked on how very prophetic this moment was, and how it suggests that even people who sound fanatical and crazy can have some useful insight, something the game actually delves into with the Templars. But instead, you just stripped the scene of important context and used it to paint Al-Mualim as a dictatorial control freak who can't stand people believing things he doesn't like.
That's exactly what he
black
is. That's exactly what he is. That's his entire arc. At the end of the game, he reveals that he's willing to control the world with a magic orb. Because he doesn't want anyone to think differently to him. He's a dictator with a magic ball. He's Hitler if he had magic. What are we doing?
White way. He's convinced himself assassins are good and everyone else is evil. Probably because that's what Al-Mualim has taught him, linking back to the discussion with Masoon.
Again, I have to question, where the hell did you pull this from? If you stopped at Altair thinks in a very black and white way, I'd have nodded my head and agreed, but you take that way further and describe an Altair that my eyes never saw. All of this, after long enough, starts to sound a bit like the evil Dumbledore problem. You know, how very singular-minded, black and white thinking fans of the Harry Potter series read the final book and were informed Dumbledore groomed Harry to go die at Voldemort's hands. For all of J.K. Rowling's extreme flaws as a person and misdeeds since becoming wealthy, even she understood that reducing Dumbledore, or anyone else for that matter, to a pure good or pure evil was stupid.
I don't know what
But people with their heads up their ass only really focused on the revelation itself, and began to backfill every other interaction Dumbledore ever had with Harry with manipulation and misdirection that wasn't really there.
I think he's got... Okay, actually, I do know what he's talking about. I think he has more of a black and white view. I think that he's misunderstanding. Because I understand when people do look back at Dumbledore's actions with Harry and the decisions that he makes, you can see a lot of this odd power dynamic and him getting Harry into situations that he shouldn't be involved in. And you know, there is that element of like manipulation and you know, there are those like gray areas of like Dumbledore is not a bad man, but he's done bad things, and maybe everything he did with Harry wasn't necessarily the right thing that he should have been doing when you look back on it. And when you learn those things about him in the Deathly Hallows, about his past and everything, it does make you look at him differently, but only in the way that he was painted out as this heroic, like godlike figure, right? And then when he's sort of brought crashing down to earth as just a flawed man, which is where you end up with him at the end of Deathly Hallows, is like after his death, he's no longer this like biblical figure. He's just a flawed man that did what he could where he could and tried his best, right? And that's what a lot of people look at is the way that, well, that maybe there was a little bit of weird manipulation with Harry, and like we saw him through Harry's eyes, so we sort of see him as like this heroic, like wonderful figure. But when you look back on it with later context, you can kind of be like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't great, and maybe you shouldn't have been treating him like that. It's an odd thing to do with to treat someone like this 14-year-old kid, to be like, oh yeah, you should go, like, you know, to raise them to fight and things like that, right? And so like, it's odd that he's saying that people that raise those questions are looking at Dumbledore in a black and white way, because they're actually not. They're just raising those questions in that specific circumstance. They're not making comments on his entire character based on it. So it's, you know, I just think it's an odd, like, I feel like whenever someone makes a claim about a specific part of a character, for some reason he's acting as if that suggests they feel that single way about that character, and also that forms their morals and also their opinion on the entire thing, which is like not true. It's just one small minute detail of a larger whole and ecosystem of character work and writing. So it's a bit strange. Oh my god. Oh wow, Elva's home. We're gonna be here all day. But Amwelling isn't Dumbledore. Dumbledore's a flawed hero using morally questionable actions despite having ultimately good intentions. Amwelling was manipulating people explicitly for evil intentions so he can take over the world. They're completely different character archetypes. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just think, like, I need to understand where he lands. Like, maybe he'll explain it, but I want to know what he thinks Amwelling was doing, or what he thinks the ending it means. Does it maybe he thinks he was corrupted by the apple? Maybe he thinks, like, on a completely literal level, Amwelling was a decent bloke and the apple like took over his mind, which is incorrect. But
thing with Al-Mualim here, taking his betrayal and his flaws as a person and taking that to mean that every interaction he ever had with Altair was either lies and misdirection or teaching him to kill thoughtlessly because assassins good, other people bad.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, and it's also not knowingly. I don't think Al-Mualim was necessarily always knowingly manipulating Altair. I think that a lot of their relationship was founded on genuine respect. But I think Al-Mualim's worldview is fundamentally flawed, and the way that he interacts with his pupils is fundamentally flawed in a way that he doesn't even realize is flawed. But also, he literally says, at the end of the game, Altair says, "Why didn't you make me like the other assassins? Why allow me to retain my mind?" And Al-Mualim says, "The truth is that I did try. When you were with me in my study and I showed you the treasure." Like, he literally tried to brainwash Altair. It shows that implies that even before the apple, he would have liked to have done the same. But now he had a means to do it, and he was like, fuck it, I'm going to try brainwash my best assassin. And he couldn't do it, because Altair was too strong. And that is not just literally plot. It is symbolically representative of Altair's own ability to think critically, transcending the amount he's susceptible to manipulation, which is what that is. So AI Mualim. He does. I'm Walter White banging on the car window. Oh wait, he thinks Al-Mualim was just a decent bloke corrupted by the apple? Oh no. But if the apple corrupts, then Altair and Ezio both should have been corrupted by the apple as well. It doesn't. Like, Pieces of Eden don't corrupt. They're just tools. They don't corrupt you. They're metaphors for temptation. That's why it's the apple of forbidden knowledge. It's a metaphor for temptation. It's a symbol. So that it's not like the One Ring. It's the idea that this power and knowledge and, you know, being able to lord over other people is, to people that are already susceptible to it and already flawed, is corrupting. That's why Altair doesn't end up that way. It's why Ezio doesn't end up that way. It's why Al-Mualim and Abbas both do. Because they're already corrupt. So that temptation is enough to pull them in. Apples have no meaning, they're just apples. Ah, shit. Yeah, nah, you're right. Fuck. Sorry.
This really isn't all that reflected in any of their conversations. Yeah, obviously Al-Mualim
It's just a fruit, dude.
truthful all the time, but the evidence points towards him still being an overall good mentor to Altair when he tried to be. The even crazier thing about this interpretation of good mentor to Altair when he tried...
Oh, shit. I just opened that by mistake. What the fuck did I just do? Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I fixed it. In fact, he quite literally teaches Altair the opposite after killing 8 out of 9 of the targets and tells him not to hate the people he kills because it's unhealthy. I'd have to watch that scene again, but I'm pretty sure it's like... It's, again, another way of him having, like, a hold of Altair. More than a genuine teaching on kindness. That's how I read it, anyway. I'd have to watch the scene again.
Tried to be. The even crazier thing about this interpretation of Al-Mualim, though, is that it kind of drops off halfway through. You do accurately assess the scene where it shows Altair the apple.
Al-Mualim still has Altair in the palm of his hand. While he is correct, the plans of the Templars viewed as a whole are very clearly ones that must be...
Dude, it's almost like I can see characters in a nuanced way, and one scene and my reading of that one scene doesn't dictate how I view the entire character, and actually is just one reading of one scene, and later, when I contradict what I said before, it's because I actually believe the character is fucking nuanced, and so I understand that Al-Mualim can be both right and wrong in different instances, and that's actually why I really like the game!
Stopped. He too has the same goals and uses their methods. Altair is just not quite there at understanding it yet. It's a classic manipulation tactic. Altair feels distrust, and so Al-Mualim lowers his guard and lets him in, tells him the truth. But what Altair is unaware of is that it's not the whole truth and it's deeply twisted. But this allows Al-Mualim to regain the trust of Altair, even if only briefly, to continue doing his bidding.
See, that's a 100% correct recap of what actually happened in that scene. I don't begrudge calling Al-Mualim on his manipulations when he is in fact manipulating. I just don't understand why we had to go through castles are evil to get here. It's so weird.
Because I didn't say castles are evil. They're a symbol of avarice and rule and dominance. Okay, we're not doing this fucking castle shit again.
Because only an hour in, you give one of the most perfect readings of Al-Mualim I've ever seen.
This is a clear example of Al-Mualim.
You okay? He doesn't want to go.
3, 2, 1. Speaking to a manner of the creed which is deeply misunderstood by Altair, and he argues it so passionately. I think it shows that this man believes the Assassin's Creed. Truly, these are his ideals, but tempted by the apple with the knowledge it grants him of men's madness and folly, he caves into control as a means to reach a peace he feels is more important than the means in which you reach it. Again, playing back into the core theming established by the verses from Ecclesiastes. And this acts as a direct parallel to Altair by the end of the game, a mentor who ultimately disintegrates the foundation upon
Hey, thanks DKip for the gifted sub. I appreciate that.
which this current brotherhood is built. One of the few instances where later story additions actually bolster the previous ones.
Yes, I love this so much. It would be so easy to read Al-Mualim just based on his betrayal, and assume everything he said prior was a lie, or a veil of assassin rhetoric to disguise purely Templar ideals. I think the best way to read his actions, and the way that's truest to the text, is to view them not as the true colors of a power-hungry madman, but as the result of cognitive dissonance. Al-Mualim does genuinely believe in the Assassin's Creed and the betterment of humanity, but he's also bitter and cynical and down a long road of despair. The point is made many times that the times in which this man lives are heinously violent, with reminders of human suffering quite literally everywhere, and the carnage seems
we agree
endless.
here, so I'm confused.
Even with the brutally concise means of effecting change that Assassination makes for, it makes sense that no matter how much he believes in peace through freedom, he assessed that it was woefully out of his reach even as the mentor of the Brotherhood, and so chose to use the apple even if it otherwise went against his beliefs. The philosophical conversations he has with Altair, as well as his dying memory corridor, enforce this. He knew it was wrong, but felt he had no other choice, and laments that his pursuit of wisdom led him to such a path. So what the hell was happening with the rest of the 40 minutes after this? What was all that garbage about indoctrination and black and white thinking? What's weird about all this extra reading into characters is that when it comes to the Templars, the inverse happens. You stop reading it.
Like, indoctrination doesn't mean that Al-Mualim didn't have nuance. Those two things can be true. Like, I'm confused because the assassins in Altair's time and Desmond's time specifically do indoctrinate their people. That's how they work. But it doesn't mean that Al-Mualim doesn't have nuance in his own views. Like, that's why the indoctrination is interesting. That's what Desmond talks about. Like, Desmond literally talks about this exact thing. In this game and later ones, like Revelations and Valhalla. So, and like, yeah, that's not reflective of this game's narrative, sure, but like, indoctrination doesn't mean a lack of nuance.
In depth and simply look at them as puzzle pieces making a singular point. But before I make my ultimate assessments of the Templars versus yours, let's take some time and look at the individual targets.
We're just skipping over Tamir. Oh man.
I wasn't surprised to find out that Garnier is one of your favorite assassinations. He's one of mine too, and I think the same can safely be said for a lot of the Assassin's Creed fanbase. It's simply a twisted, gut-wrenching scene with layers. I do, however, wish you had stepped back and taken a broader look at his actions. A few things nagged at me while you were analyzing Garnier. At 1:59 o'clock, you make a point of phrasing.
What we believe to be a corrupted doctor experimenting on patients in a late Middle Ages hospital within the poorest district of a city falling apart due to a holy war. What we believe to be a corrupted doctor. What we believe to be...
As if this isn't a perfectly accurate assessment of Garnier de Naplouse in this game. I let it slide, and then it happened again at 2:15.
It does wonders to give us insight into Garnier as a man. Or so we think.
I mean, I think it does speak pretty clearly to his character. Cruelty usually does.
As you blend and stalk Garnier, you can hear him make his rounds, speaking with the patients, and
I mean, maybe, but I'm like, I don't necessarily disagree. Like, maybe I don't know. Maybe you're being a bit pedantic with my wording. I think you know what I mean, but like, yeah, I guess he let me off. Like, yeah, I think yeah. What do you think a clock means? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna hold up on that. Like, if I'm gonna talk about him being pedantic with my wording, then I'm not gonna be pedantic with his. He can say a clock if he wants to say the timestamp of a video.
Up discovering something interesting.
Am I gonna send it out? Oh, I'm scared.
It's you! And how does it feel to be whole again? I don't know how you did it.
Why did he say that? Like, dude was just getting mad at me while making this. Like, okay, sorry, man, I didn't have the volume up quite loud enough for you. Sorry, okay.
It wasn't easy, I assure you. You fought hard at first. Most do. But now it's...
Like, he could have just turned up the volume. He didn't have to, like, dunk on me.
Thank you. Thank you for freeing me. Thank you for letting me.
Some of these men and women are thankful to him. They don't seem to be in pain, and Garnier is happy with these results. Is he helping these people? What the fuck is going on?
I do wish at the...
See, the thing there is, though, that's not my conclusion. That's me establishing, if you're playing this on a first-time run-through, those are the questions you'd be asking yourself.
This moment that you had pointed out that the patients Garnier visits are randomized, and that for every one he meets with that is seemingly healthy and grateful, there's 2 calling him a monster or begging to be allowed to leave.
And how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I know that, but I was using it to show that some people aren't. That's all I was doing. We see that some people think he's a monster. I literally showed the scene previously where the guy's trying to escape and he goes to break their leg. Like, that's what I was doing. I wasn't trying to, like... Okay.
What have you done to me? Yes, the pain. It hurts at first, I won't lie. A small price to pay.
I feel like he's trying to suggest that I'm trying to paint Garnier as a good guy, which is not at all what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to paint him as a nuanced guy. We know he's a bad guy. That's the obvious part. The less obvious part are the good intentions behind it, which is the part that I was trying to highlight, because the obvious part is the cruelty and the monster part of it all. Imagine if Garnier had the internet. Imagine if Garnier had a castle, dude.
I've been called worse.
Oh, wait, he does have a mini castle!
Is genuinely concerned for his patients. Altair stating that they'll be free to return to their homes, believing he is saving these people. But Garnier retorts that they didn't have homes. They were from brothels or prisons or living on the streets. They were people with mental illnesses and trauma. Garnier believes he was helping them, that they were like children to him, saying that they were trapped in the prisons of their own mind.
They'll be free now to return to their homes. Homes? What homes? The sewers? The brothels? The prisons that we tied them from? You took these people against their will. Yes. What little will there was for them to have. Are you really so naive?
I'm happy enough with your overall assessment of Garnier, because by the end of it, I don't think you excused any of his actions, so I'm not accusing you of that. You sum up the scene well enough as a means for Assassin's Creed to remind players that most people they come into conflict with aren't evil, and some genuinely want a better world. But I think most of us would agree that Garnier and men like him are horrifying because his actions are in direct defiance of his words. He says he wants to heal these people.
That's the point.
He cripples a man for life for wanting to
that's the point.
In his belief of wanting to heal men's minds, and that's if he doesn't translate healthy to subservient in his head, which there's evidence to believe, he still destroyed this man's ability to walk. Whatever mental damage he could heal won't bring back the entire independent, abled life Garnier just stole from him. Talal reinforces this.
Yeah,
whether or not you take him out.
wait. Yeah, I agree, though. Maybe I just didn't say it out loud, but, like, I feel like my video implies, though, that I already believe Garnier was wrong in his actions, but his intentions were good, right? Like, what is going on? You literally say some of the people as well that nobody latches onto this. Yeah, super weird. Yeah, I feel like it's implied, yeah.
Before or after Garnier. Quite unlike Garnier, I think I like Talal a lot for being the first Templar to recognize the threat Altair is, and to try and go head-to-head with him, only to lose because for all that he thinks he's hot shit, he's dealing with a guy who kills with extreme proficiency. It's hubris, plain and simple. Talal has a lot of Garnier's same excuses, that it was somehow lifting up those at the bottom of the ladder into a better life. But just like with Garnier, he's a predator working towards his idea of order through base and utter cruelty. He highlights that the same evils can come about, whether the perpetrator is haughty and cold or takes on the guise of a kindly old man. Like Talal, Garnier has zero respect for the autonomy of his supposed patients, and fully admits to preying on the most vulnerable aspects of society. Prostitutes, prisoners, the homeless, the ill, and the indigent.
You mean the people made to suffer your cruel experiments? They'll be free now to return to their homes.
Homes? What homes? The sewers? The brothels? The prisons that we dragged them from?
James says that
You took these people against their
Al-Walim's a
will.
bad guy because he has a castle, but then says Garnier is good even though he has a
little
castle.
there was for them to have.
I wish that these elements had been underscored a little more in your analysis, if only because by the time we reached Jubair, I wasn't really convinced you took the right lessons from.
Yeah, I just thought it was implied, man. I thought, like, the Templars are positioned as the opposing force in Assassin's Creed, so everyone is under the impression they're bad. So I don't think I had to say out loud that him breaking the guy's legs was bad, or Talal selling slaves was bad, because I think we all just know that. So I thought I would instead underscore the parts that aren't obvious, which are their positive intentions despite negative actions. But that's fine, I guess.
Memory Block 2's assassinations.
Abul Nakud.
Abul Nakud is one of my favorite assassination targets, and I'm pleased to report that I agreed with everything you said about him.
Oh, nice.
It is surprising to me, though, that you didn't spend more time on him. Before I get into it, I want to take...
Yeah, maybe I would have in the future. I mean, like, I think a lot of this as well is, like, this video's older, and I think maybe I would have had more to say on Abul Nakud now. But at the time, I guess I was like, well, I don't want to waste your time. I want to talk more about the broader parts. I don't know. Yeah, true. Why are we doing so much analysis? That is pretty fucking true. Does James condemn slavery? He didn't say it out loud, so I don't know. James didn't want to say breaking legs is bad as he was being nuanced. Yeah, actually, that might be true. Oh my god, dog wants to go out again. I'm going to let him out. I'll be 2 seconds. Let me just switch to the BRB screen and whack on the music. What can I play? Let's see here. Do I have Echoes of Roman Ruins somewhere? There it is. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. I'll let the dog out. I'm going to go pee. And then we'll continue. See you in a minute. Okay. I'm back. Oh, the ad's nearly done. I forgot the ad wasn't done. How are we, folks? Okay, let's continue with the gaming. Otherwise, we're going to be here fucking forever. Okay. Pause music, let's go.
This response video to say that the set piece for Abul's assassination is right up there with Garnier's intention and execution. I love it so much. You wander in knowing beforehand that your enemy is a rich guy throwing a party, so you already have an idea in your head of what's going to happen. There will be music and dancing, you'll track the guy to a secluded spot and probably slit his throat or something, and then he'll stumble out into all the dancing and partying, clutching his throat. Everybody just laughs, haha, look at the entertainment, and nobody even seems to realize anything's wrong until the man falls over dead while you slip away.
Can Massive Cars would be the next holiday of the month? Maybe.
But then you actually get into this party, which is actually fucking cool, by the way, with the water fountain dispensing wine. Nice little theological social commentary there. And
what? Whoa, buddy. Buddy, hang on, hold the fuck on a minute. Buddy. Let me just slow you down right there. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. It's just a fountain, dude. Alright? It's just a fountain dispensing wine. Alright? It does not have any sort of commentary. That's crazy, and you're reaching. Alright? Let's calm down, bro. Let's calm down. It's just a fountain, man. It's just a fountain, alright? Bloody hell, using some big words there. Trying to do some fucking, analysis? What are we doing? It's just a fountain in a game, buddy.
And Abul, who has to be some of Fred Tatashiyore's best vocal work, if I'm honest, addresses the people. It all sounds very generic, look upon me, my subjects, with joy, until he switches up and starts fucking tearing into these.
Does the fountain have internet? Fuck.
People, reading them for filth on being rich parasites who fund war, whose gruesome effects they're nice and insulated from.
Give up your coin,
is he just gonna analyze this? Because I'm like, yeah. Is it a smart fountain? Does it have Wi-Fi?
The sanctity of the Holy Land, you'll say, or the evil inclination of our enemies. But these are lies you tell yourselves.
And taking time out of their day to be bigots too.
Oh, do not feign ignorance. Do you take me for a fool? That I have not heard the words you whispered behind my back.
Why is he just analyzing? I don't care.
He sets his archers and the partygoers and all fucking.
I mean, it's fine. It's his video. Like, ultimately, it's fine. You can take some time out to do this if you want to. I just, like, for my purposes right now, it's like, yeah, I agree with you. This assassination's great.
Hell breaks loose.
Whole scene is great.
People are panicking and dying, and
whole game is great.
The music here is excellent. Starts off all party across the game. Wound up. Back to the bureau to describe the offense to the Damascus Rafik. Altair is actually a little wound up.
1119 AD. No smartphones, no TikTok, just people living in the castle.
Your success, Altair.
Why does he have all these pots on the shelves? Like, what are these? Something's telling me, like, these shelves were supposed to be filled with books, but they filled them with pots, and I don't know why. It's an assassin bureau. Why are there pots everywhere? What's he doing with all these pots?
Abu Nakud's reign of terror is at an end.
Stay your blade from the pot.
He killed them. The men and women in the party.
God forbid a man likes a drink. Yeah, okay, true.
With every other target, he's stoic and professional, regardless of what he's saying or what doubts he's voicing. But with Abu and the mass murderer, he sounds shocked, even a little unnerved as he describes what went down. I love it because Altair clearly did not expect what actually happened any more than we did. But to expound further on Abu himself, he's the closest thing to what you, lasers, keep describing the Templars as in this video. A man who uses ugly methods but does genuinely want to make the world a better place, who has salient points, and who a reasonable player might actually side with. When Abul starts his speech, it's clear he has smoke for the Crusaders, but he has smoke for the Saracens too. And in particular, he has a clearly articulated disgust for the rich upper-class citizenry he's forced to rub elbows with, and he calls them on funding a war where people they don't care about die, fighting people they don't know, and he states he intends to build a world in which everyone is equals in harmony, unsubtly calling out the homophobia he's been enduring. And he's right to, since in this time period, if somebody was gay and didn't have Abul's obscene riches, they'd have very quickly gotten executed by the state, lynched by a mob, or both in one go.
Yes, yeah. The thing is that the Templar, the idea, I don't know what he's arguing. The Templars all have redeeming qualities. It's just that some more than others. Like, I think he's mistaken my analysis of the morally grey actions of these guys for justifications, and that's actually not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that I would understand why they would do it. I think, like, I guess I just thought it was implied that I thought they were wrong for doing it. Like, I still thought that, like, Tamir was wrong to do what he did. I mean, he skipped over Tamir. I thought that Garnier was wrong for doing what he did to the people in the hospital, but then I'm like, I think everyone's wrong for doing the things they did. I think everyone did wrong. Like, all the Templars are doing things that are wrong. It's just that, like, what I'm arguing is that you can understand why they did these things, what they believed they were doing them for, and that's the interesting part. I don't think I need to preface by saying breaking a man's legs, who is your patient in a hospital, is wrong to do, because we all know that, right? I think we all know that. So I don't think I needed to say that. So I was focusing more on the parts that are interesting, but I think he's extrapolated the... Oh, shit. I think he's extrapolated that I believe that they're justified in their actions, which I don't. I'm just saying I understand why they made those actions in the first place. So, I don't know. Okay, let's keep going.
While Garnier and Talal preyed on society's most vulnerable and tried to justify their actions, Abul is one of the only targets in the entire game to take out his ire on arguably the people most responsible for the shitty state of the world at the moment, the rich elite. He says flat out that his conscience could not take being expected to finance the war, especially all for a god who is said to hate him.
But he's also rich, so he has the... I don't even know what... I didn't even argue this. He's not even arguing against this point. I'm just adding something.
I'm just saying, you know, he's kind of iconic for that, is he not? I mean, is he not? Come on, dude has a little bit of a point. Abul Nakud is the one who...
No, Abul has a huge point. The rest of them have a little bit of a point. That's the whole thing I'm making. Is the difference that he just doesn't think any of them have a point? Like, Garnier does have a point. Which is all that I'm saying, is like, rather than him just being an evil guy doing evil things, he's like a nuanced guy doing evil things. That's the point, isn't it?
Best exemplifies the Templars as their spokesmen keep propping them up. Noble men with noble ideas fighting for a greater good.
The funny thing is, I think if me and this guy just had a conversation, he'd probably be like, oh, fair enough. I just think, like, we would have a conversation and iron out all these points, and he would just be like, oh, I just misunderstood that from the video. More than anything else. I don't know. Except for the castle thing. That's fucking insane. I would have a go at him. That's crazy.
As to whether Templars actually deserve
Castles don't represent anything.
Well,
they don't have
let's
Wi-Fi.
talk about the next one really quick.
William of Montferrat.
You spent almost no time on William of Montferrat at all, which...
Really? I feel like maybe my AC1 video will be better. I gotta remake it, guys. Fuck. I love William, too. It's one of my favorite assassinations in the games. That's weird.
I think was a mistake, considering he's one of the biggest bastards in the entire game. And in that I include Majd ad-Din, the next target after him who the game treats as an irredeemable murder enthusiast. You're right to point out how Altair's assumptions about William are incorrect, but William is definitely not one of those times where Assassin's Creed is giving grace to the enemy and raising thoughtful critiques of the nature of the conflict. His memory corridor is one of the best examples of a Templar talking out of both sides of his mouth.
The city belongs to its people.
William truly means well. Again, the game flips what you think about these men, because while the...
You know what? We'll wait till this is over, but I actually might agree with this. I might agree with this. Just give me a minute.
Information we learned is technically true. The context in which it's performed flips how we view these people. It just works to show how important context and intent is when viewing the actions of another human being. How we learned these things comes from incredibly biased sources, people in the streets talking and gossiping. The actual intent of these actions and the actual meaning behind the actions could be entirely...
Yeah, but I'm saying... Oh, maybe I shouldn't have used the word bias then, I guess. I'm just saying that, like, people in the streets that are gossiping that don't actually know the minutiae of the details, especially in a period where people barely knew anything that was going on, which obviously is an issue in and of itself. But, like, I guess bias was the wrong word, but, like, I was trying to say that people on the ground don't actually know what's happening, why, who's making the decisions. All they know is, this is how it's impacting me, which is true, and I'm not defending William's actions, but clearly there was a reason. Like he says, I took the food so that we may ration it when the lean times came. How can you see that as anything other than the right decision made by someone who could have the foresight to see the future and to know what was coming? And yes, it is their fault. Obviously, they're the ones instigating the war in the first place, but they also wanted to end the war by uniting the Saracens and Crusaders. So, like, I don't know. People in the streets have smoke with William.
entirely different when hearing it from the person responsible.
This is very interesting because you seem to take this at face value. The thing is, you're treating the bias of the people you learn information from as less reliable than the bias of William himself.
That's actually true. Yeah, to be fair, I did do that. But also, why would William lie? Well, maybe he would just lie. Maybe he took the food just to take the food. But the thing is, right, when you look at the two different perspectives, the people have had their food taken, so they think tyranny, right? That's just all they think is, we've had our food stolen, fuck these people that have taken our food. Then you listen to William and he's like, oh no, I took the food so that we could ration it later when we needed to. Yes, he could be lying, but why would he be lying? He didn't, like... Unless he took their food to simply steal it and eat it all. Which maybe he did, but I don't know if that's what they were writing when they wrote that. So...
Itself has this to say.
The city belongs to its people. Stole their food? No. I took possession so that when the lean times came...
Is he just going to say he was lying?
Properly. Look around. My district is without crime, save those committed by you and your ilk. And as for the conscription, they were not being trained to fight. They were being taught the merits of order and discipline.
Yeah, see, this is all... I mean, I don't know if I said this in the video, but, like, this is very clearly William, like, very clearly displaying the most fundamental values of the Templars. Order and control through subjugation. Or order and peace through control and subjugation, should I say. Yeah, which is core to it.
So, apparently, the city belongs to its people unless William decides they can't be trusted with it. The city belongs to its people until William decides that it doesn't. The city, he says, belongs to its people, but these people are dissatisfied and angry with his rule and think very little of him. His talk of his district not having any crime rings hollow too, given that the rich district has a higher concentration of thugs than any other. For gameplay purposes, this is to allow the player to easily build up a stock of knives, since sneaking into William's headquarters is going to require cutting down a lot of archers. For story purposes, though, it's to show how William's full of shit.
And as for the conscription...
I feel like he's reading into things, though, here, actually, to be honest with you. I think he might be taking inference from visual cues that aren't literally said out loud, so I don't know why he'd do that, given he thinks that's wrong to do, but there you go.
They were not being trained to fight. They were being taught the merits of order and discipline.
Mind you, conscription by itself is a very ugly moral issue, and it's historically been pretty unpopular. But the soldiers William is talking about...
Yeah, also, yeah. Memory corridor... Yeah, you're exactly right. Memory corridors are called confessions. Therefore, they are supposed to be the truth of the person's mind, not lies. Wait, that's so fucking true. I even didn't just think that right now. That's absolutely the case. They're called confessions because they're confessing.
Aren't even his. They're the kidnapped people Talal sent to Garnier to have brainwashed, wielding weapons Tamir put in their hands, and then William sees fit to execute the ones who aren't performing to his standards.
It's just
not exactly the better life the Templars keep talking about. And yes, I know that you do acknowledge how the wider web of the Templars recontextualizes the seeming noble ambitions of the targets Altair kills. I'm just saying that the reading here keeps stopping at surface level when it really could go deeper.
I think so too. To be fair, I think there were deeper... There are elements I could have gone deeper with AC1, and I do think it's because when I came to writing about the confessions, I realized that there was very little footage I could use that wasn't just this, and it's really fucking boring to look at. And so part of me was like, let's just summarize everything I can as well as I can. And then the broader strokes that I discuss at later points in the video and at specific intervals between chapters is where I'll be able to highlight greater the overall Templar ideology better, rather than in specific instances where I just highlight one specific Templar. But I will say that is one part of my AC1 video where I would have liked to have gone in more deep, is specific ideologies of specific Templars. But, you know, it's been almost 3 years. That's just how it is.
Just saying the reading here keeps stopping at surface level when it really could go deeper. But the biggest problem with this analysis of William is that it skips straight over that argument he had with King Richard, which is actually pretty important. If you pay attention during the scene, Richard is pissed the fuck off with William for an action which goes undetailed but is hinted at pretty thoroughly. This turns out to have been the massacre at Ayadie, in which more than 2,000 Muslim prisoners of war were publicly beheaded. Historically, this was actually authorized by King Richard himself, and it is one of many reasons why King Richard is still burning in hell to this day. However, Assassin's Creed puts this in the hands of William of Montferrat, which, I mean, fair enough if he died that year anyway. Now, Altair being a Muslim-born Syrian assassin whose homeland is nominally aligned with Saladin against an invading force, you personally would not have had to tell me, if I were him, to go kill whoever was responsible for that. I already would have been down in Akkar peeling his skin off and salting it. The game stops just shy of spelling it out, but it makes it very clear that William is a brute, and in making it clear he did this, safely casts away any idea that he's actually acting in the interests of the people. Actions speak louder than words. William can say whatever the hell he wants, but every time he has a chance to act, he uses force and intimidation. When even King Richard, the main figurehead of the war, is calling you on your actions being both vile and strategically unsound, you know there's not much left to be said.
Majdadin.
Here, let me show you.
Which is, I don't know, a little bit cheap.
Oh, it's cold as fuck, which is why I like it. Majdadin is another target you spend almost no time analyzing, which is more understandable in this case since the game does away with introspection and exposes him as a sadistic ghoul. But I think it's important to watch what Assassin's Creed does with its Templars. It doesn't uniformly present quote-unquote grey characters to you and have you turn them over like a rotisserie, seeing good in their every evil. It shows you a variety of characters, from people like Abul who have relatable frustrations and are more sympathetic, to sons of bitches like Majdadin, who are in it for the fun of public executions. Then it gives you characters in between, like Talal or William or Garnier, whose actions are inexcusable, but whose differing perspectives offer you a chance to see how men come to commit the actions they do, and whose differing justifications encourage you to look more closely and try to parse who's really out for good versus who's really out for subjugation, and where the two cross over. Getting you used to doing this is important because the game really tests this when it comes to Sabrand and Jubair. But onward we move. Well, actually, I want to stop for a second here. During the modern day segment, you said
Listen up, buddy. Listen up, buddy. You didn't analyze Majdadin. What did I do wrong then, sir? Where's your critique of what I said? Because you said it was bad and that I should have done more, and then you just brushed over it too. What's going on there? Okay.
Interesting stuff. You and I have extremely differing opinions on how valuable the whole End of the World in 2012 plot thing was and how good it was for this game or the series. That's clear. But during that section, you bring up an email in Vidic's deleted emails folder. You know, the one from the crazy guy with the all caps?
I'm pretty sure the guy who sent the email is actually one of the witnesses of the DIA incident that is talked about a little bit later in the game.
I think you got this information from the wiki, which is also the same page which has the really basic factual error of what Denver is code for, which you go into in the video.
Yeah.
I think both you and the wiki editors here, who don't cite any sources besides the emails, missed the very obvious hint here that Subject 16 actually wrote this email.
I don't think that's true, but I'll wait to see what he says.
The all caps lock text and the gibbering madman way he talks is the biggest hint, But also, literally the only way a threatening email could come to a member of Abstergo staff from a sender unknown and not be immediately traced was if it was coming from systems beyond Abstergo's ability to spy on and scrutinize. The Animus fits that description, and we know from the Ezio trilogy that Subject 16 could hack it. The emails from Alan Rickon make it pretty clear that the presence of
You're talking about games outside of AC1, buddy. You're not allowed to do that.
information that's damaging them concerns projects that have 100% mortality rates, aka no witnesses, and he himself raises the possibility that the leaks are internal. They are. He's just not grasping how internal they are. They're being threatened by one of their captives and they don't even know it because he's already dead. Now, back to Jubair.
Wait, was that it? Hang on, can we go back? Is he saying that's from inside the Animus?
Your trilogy that Subject 16 and not be...
Is that what he's saying? Wait, I'm confused. Can we go back?
The way a threatening email can come to a member of Abstergo staff from a sender unknown and not be immediately traced was if it was coming from systems beyond Abstergo's ability to spy on and scrutinize. The Animus fits that description, and we know from the Ezio trilogy that Subject 16...
I think it's an interesting theory looking at the games post AC1, but I don't think in 2007 they thought that Subject 16 was like inside the Animus. I just don't think it was ever implied. And Subject 16 also like wasn't really a thing either. Like, well, maybe it was hinted at, and maybe there was more seeds of Subject 16 than we thought, but, like, to me, the way I always saw it is that right at the very end of the game, but also he says, I think you could read it that way, but I don't think it was the original intent. I'm not sure. If you go back and you read the email, like, he says, like, he had a metal ball, it opened, they went crazy, shooting, stabbing, tore each other to pieces, like, what did Subject 16, what... No, it doesn't work. Because what is he talking about? Like, Subject 16 never saw this. Subject 16 was an assassin. Well, unless this was the original intent that Subject 16 was originally not an assassin and was just, like, a guy. But then you've got to assume that, like... Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be 16. It's definitely the DAI satellite incident. The Denver International Airport incident. It must be. Because that's the one thing that keeps coming back around as a major thing. I think this would be a really weird email if this was Subject 16, because it would imply they would have had to establish that he lived inside the Animus before AC2, and also that he could communicate with Abstergo, and also, why would he send this? Like, what reason would he send this to them for? He also says, you'll pay, no. I don't think it's Subject 16 at all. I think it's an interesting theory. Like, I have no real problems with the theory, but I do think that's not true. I just don't think it lines up enough to make sense. Because what is 16 talking about? Why is he sending it? How is he sending it? What's the purpose? Like, doesn't seem like it's 16, to be honest.
Literally the only way a threatening emails from Al even know
be simple.
Oh, I'm ready for... Oh, God, we're only halfway through. I'm ready for this to be over. Let's just keep going.
How can this person be sympathetic? How is the game going to turn us around so at least we think, yeah, I guess you have a point, like it has done so many times before?
Well, that's kind of the thing. It doesn't. There is this thing Assassin's Creed does where it presents you a range of characters who will tell you in confidence up to the point of their death that they are doing the right thing, and ask you how much that belief is worth in the face of their actions, or even whether they really believe them at all. Many times it presents you a sympathetic look at Templars and suggests that they might have a point. Jubair is not one of those times, and it's very clear here that you badly misunderstood him and the point of this assassination.
If this is the case, and Jubair must die for being wrong, is he then not, unlike the books, which Altair is so desperate to save, a source of information with which he disagrees? Which is a fucking good point.
My brother in Christ, no it is not, and nor does Assassin's Creed expect you to think so. A person could reasonably ask, if Jubair is wrong, or lying, surely the game would have gone out of its way to show it. But that's exactly the thing, it does. Not a huge amount, but enough to catch if you're paying attention. The information you learn from your investigation paints a huge divide between Jubair's current actions and those who believe in them, and, rational people. It presents him as either a fanatical madman, a manipulative shithead, or both. You do one of the investigations and interrogate one of his most loyal followers, who talks like a fucking crazy person, which not only is something Altair calls out.
The words upon these parchments, they are poison. Jubair holds the cure.
Yeah, he's misunderstanding me completely. I did not say that Jubair's point was a good point. I was saying that Jubair's arguments about Altair killing him was a good point. That's what I was saying. So the clip that he did where I say that's a fucking good point is Jubair says, I think I literally quoted him, is where he says like you kill me, a source of information that you disagree with, is that not unlike the parchment that I am destroying? Which is like, okay, that's an interesting point. I guess I should have said interesting point, not a good point. It's an interesting point, because Jubair is, he's burning all these books that he disagrees with. Altair is then killing a man who is preaching things that he disagrees with. Ultimately, we can understand the nuance in both of those things, and the fact that, Jubair, someone doing something that is that wrong and destroying knowledge and information and text, has to die. We all know that. But it's an interesting point to raise that a creed that seeks freedom and equality is quick to take the life of someone who destroys texts that they disagree with. Like, it's paradoxical almost, So, according to the wiki, Desmond is captured 2 days before Desmond is captured. Bro, he's schizophrenic. What's going on? I think it's a good point too. Yeah, probably, but I think interesting would have been a better word if we're being pedantic. But, see you later, Blitz. Sleep tight. A good point doesn't have to be factually correct. Right. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the thing that I was just assuming we all sort of agreed on, is like, oh, it's a good point. Not true, not correct, and I don't agree, but, like, good point, though. Like, it's to think about,
They'll free us from their lies.
It's nonsense you speak. You've lost your mind.
But which sounds disturbingly like the loyal followers Al-Mualim brainwashes in the end of the game.
No, not lost, but found. I see the world.
I mean, this guy voices a load of characters, but, like, also, again, why are you allowed to read into things in that way, but I'm not? Like, what are we doing? Like, yeah, fair enough. That's a cool parallel. I'll accept it. Cool. But, like, when I do it, I'm crazy. And also, castles don't mean anything.
World for what it truly is. He has shown me so much. I am illuminated.
Fanatic is all you are, and dangerous for it.
Gone to see the master.
Was it the Templars? Did they attack again?
They walk the path.
What path? What are you talking about?
Towards the light.
Speak sense.
There is only what the master shows us. This is the truth.
You've lost your mind.
You can also pickpocket a letter which concerns Jubair's wife, who's hidden away some of their texts so they won't be burned, which not only indicates
I will say, despite the disagreement, I really enjoy being able to have a conversation about the, like, Assassin's Creed 1 in a way that has, like, at least a level of complexity. Like, clearly he understands this game to a degree that most people don't, right? Which is way more interesting than someone's response being, no, the game is fucking boring and the missions are repetitive and it fucking sucks and I wish there was more action and Altair's boring. Like that, like, this is at least, like, an interesting disagreement to have where we can disagree about, like, how we view the game philosophically. Like, I think he's wrong, but, like, it's not as basic as, like, someone just being like, AC1's boring and repetitive. Like, that's such a boring fucking argument.
Know Jubair well, think he's behaving
It's clunky,
irrationally,
it's fucking clunky
but
and
presents
old.
him as someone who was happy to have a home full of books until recently. Furthermore, the letter unsubtly implies Jubair is going to kill her for this. You noticeably skated over both of these investigations in favor of another surface-level villain has some good points narrating, and that rubs me the wrong way.
You're probably right, actually.
In
I
the
don't
memory
disagree with
corridor,
that.
Altair points
I
out
did
this
skate over
hypocrisy to his
Jubair a bit.
face, saying he more than anyone else should know what he's doing is wrong because he's the master scribe.
Then what?
You of all people should know the answer. Educate them. Teach them right from wrong.
His whole life up to this point has been books and learning. His sudden decision that books are evil and mislead people isn't a sincerely held belief. It's knowledge and education for me, but not for thee. Jubair's logic that
that's actually a really good point. Yeah, you know what, fair enough.
Could easily be countered with the argument that men can also lie and mislead people without writing a single thing. So should all men be put to the fire? Of course, Jubair's willingness to do exactly that is the game's way of showing that he's much too far gone and has to be put down. He's essentially presented as a cult leader. At the very end stages of cult leadership, all rationality flushed away in favor of his cause. There is a reason that Assassin's Creed makes one of its last targets one of its most irredeemable men, and that's because the game now feels confident in asking you to parse words versus actions. You can call it paradoxical or black and white thinking to say that Jubair needed to be iced, but this is an easy mode kill. Men do not destroy knowledge unless they wish to create ignorance. We already know Jubair is doing this in service
and that's the
of
thing.
ultimate...
It's an interesting point that Jubair makes, but we all agree that he needed to die. Like, we all agree that, right? But I think this is probably his best point, honestly, because I also agree that my analysis of Jubair is pretty shallow. I don't think I did a great job
Templar
with
plan
that.
to reshape the world. His behavior here is a means of undermining the citizenry's ability to educate themselves out from under Templar leadership. After all, if people can learn from sources the Templars haven't approved, they might eventually come to believe in or even act in ways the Templars haven't approved. This got even worse when you tried to continue this underbaked analysis in the Assassin's Bureau.
Yeah.
Such is the landscape of a madman.
Look, I've got to agree. I have always felt, since I've released this video, my Jubair analysis was not the best of all of them. It was definitely my weakest, and I knew that when I made the video, but at the time, I was, one, under, pressure of a deadline, and two, I didn't have anything else to say at the time. I don't think I understood Jubair to the degree I understood the rest of the game. It was more, I was using Jubair to play into my overall analysis of the game, and didn't really take the time to sit with what he said more to try and, pick it apart a bit more. I think what he said is really good. I like this a lot, actually.
Mind. The things I've seen...
I need to know if Jubair owned a castle before all that, before I can answer that question. He's mocking your analysis. No! And that's fundamental Templar doctrine, right? That we should place faith in the educated elite because they know better. Yeah, exactly.
These past few weeks, it's as if all the land has gone mad.
And this is why we fight to end the war, that sanity might return. The people are desperate for direction.
The Damascus Rafik is accurately describing what Jubair did and how he took advantage of the citizenry's fear and unrest. Hold on.
To end the war.
Past few weeks, it's as if all the land has gone mad.
And this is why we fight to end the war, that sanity might return. The people are desperate for direction. It's easy for men like Jubair to prey on this and turn them towards evil.
He did not miss even once here, and yet...
The Rafik in Damascus is an odd one. This is our final conversation with him, and
what is going on?
He keeps referring to concepts like madness and evil to define what these men do, but I think this acts as a means to get Altair thinking, because he knows this is a really stupid and basic way of viewing the world, especially because of how he spoke to Altair at the start of the game. His stupidity and simplicity makes way for Altair to have a meaningful dialogue within himself about the events that he is seeing, and this draws very...
I mean, it's a very easy way to paint someone as being stupid if you play silly music and reaction gifs over the top of it, I guess.
There are parallels between the Damascus Bureau leader's dogmatic view of...
if you watch this, you'd be like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but he must be stupid if you're doing this, I guess.
And that's of Al-Mualim's obvious dogma. He begins to pierce the veil of misinformation here.
Just... Shut up. Shut up. Stop talking. This is bad. This is so bad. You should have kept this out of the video. You should have edited this out. It reflects really badly on you. I can see the wheels turning in your head, and if the Damascus Rafik at this point had...
This is quite condescending. I know he said that, sometimes I can sound condescending, but, I can see the wheels turning in your head, little baby. I can see you starting to think and use your brain a little bit like I do all the time.
Said something that slotted easily into your everything is gray, evil isn't real, everything has to be super complex, and we might actually be the bad guys here narrative. You would have handled...
Oh, come on, bro. That's such an unnecessarily, disingenuous reading of, like, come on. That's not fair. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you either need to accept being an asshole or just don't be an asshole. Yeah, you need to do one or the other. Like, I think if you, like, you've kind of got to go into the video with, like, yeah, fuck it, we're going to be arguing against this. But you can't start, I mean, you can start the video by saying, like, oh, I don't mean industrial. I mean, you look at Odyssey Broke Me. I mean, I wasn't targeting any one person, so it's a bit different, but, like, I think that's a really unfair assessment of my analysis to say that, like, what is it?
Point had said something that slotted easily into your everything is gray, evil isn't real, everything has to be super complex, and we might actually be the bad guys here narrative.
That's not fair. That's not what I said. We might really be the bad guys here. Like, no, that's so uncharitable to my stance on the game. Critiquing yourself does not mean we might be the bad guys. It's that we might be doing things that are wrong despite having positive intentions and also not understanding things correctly. Like, everything is complex, actually. Everything is complex, actually. That's actually the case. I don't think that evil doesn't exist, but I don't think Assassin's Creed 1 often presents evil. I really don't think it does. I think this is crazy.
You would have handily praised it. But because he dismisses Jubair as a madman who espoused hollow views of a better world to rationalize his irrational actions, someone who preyed on the fear and anxiety of the people, a very reasonable assessment in the face of Jubair's behavior, by the way, you call him stupid and dogmatic.
Yeah, because it's black and white. He's just going, yeah, this guy's evil. There's no possible redeeming qualities at all, which is not true. Like, I can agree that Jubair's acts were evil without thinking he was an evil man. It's both things at the same time because of nuance. And I agree, maybe I worded it wrong. That's actually kind of maybe fair, actually. Like, I don't know if that was the greatest analysis for me to say, oh, he's a stupid person. Maybe that was wrong. But I don't know. That wasn't my point, I guess. Maybe? Like, I don't know. I think, like, I'm trying to think. I think, like, oh, I don't know.
Badly mischaracterized both this NPC and Altair here, because you didn't want to acknowledge that it doesn't fit into your narrative. You are so stuck in this thing where the core is everything is so gray all the time that you aren't willing to play ball when the game is telling you that's not always the case. It's very telling that you spoke very heavily towards what Altair is supposedly thinking here, but didn't actually quote him and moved on to the next topic. This is crazy.
What did he actually say? Are you not going to play it? What did he actually say? I guess we will never know.
It's interesting because he still never lets any of them go, despite the fact they are, in a way, innocent. While they do work for the target, they're not outright bad or even at all bad in a lot of cases. It's interesting that Altair still doesn't consider them entirely innocent. It allows us to see that even though he's changed for the better, the Creed still allows for some blind spots to be prevalent.
Except this moment isn't about the Creed. It's about practicality, which you remark on, even taking note that Altair wishes there were...
Yeah, but the practicality is informed by the Creed. Ezio would never do this. And that's because the Creed changes, and the morals that align with the Creed change over time. It's showing that Altair's, like, the way he acts and the actions he takes are still informed by the way he was raised rather than, the new morals he's gained over the course of the game. One of my biggest issues with this guy is that he arrives at his conclusion that the Templars are fucked up tyrants, so he doesn't give their arguments any room to breathe. And I think you do give them room to breathe, and he interprets that as you agreeing with them to some extent. Yeah, that is exactly what I felt with the Garnier thing as well, is that I agree that the Templars are bad and need to die. The thing is that this game specifically, the assassins are also not totally good guys, which is what makes it so interesting, where you're like, the Templars are bad, and what they're doing is bad, and we need to put an end to it. But they have really interesting points that Altair adopts as part of his future creed later on.
Another way.
By the end, he's almost regretful, wishing there were another way, but knowing his mission could be ruined were he to let the person go.
Hell, the interrogation mission in Acre while hunting Garnier even has Altair say that he would let the man go if he could afford to.
Then you'll let me go?
Would that I
Would that I could. Yeah, but he doesn't. That's the thing. He doesn't let him go. Ezio would have. That's the thing. You can't imagine Ezio doing this. And I also don't believe Altair would have done this, like, 20 years later, either. I believe that Altair would have changed after this. I don't believe he would still have done this, but he's still stuck in those ways, which I think is interesting to look at. I don't know. I think that's fine to say.
Implying that it's not about innocence or guilt the way you're portraying it. The creed isn't meant to be looked at as a singular guidebook on how...
Right, no, it's not about that, but it is interesting that Altair doesn't take that into account.
Assassins operate minute to minute. It's meant to guide their...
Because the creed is supposed to be founded in empathy and humanity.
their overall behavior and make sure they do the work with the right motives, which Altair at this point is indeed doing. You're doing the castle thing again, trying to tie things back to a central narrative when that's not really how it works and not really necessary. That to the side though, I don't have any issues with how you treated Zubrand or his assassination, so instead I want to take another opportunity to gush about how this assassination is one of my favorites.
Okay, we skip this.
Despite canonically, Altair is clearly one of the most skilled killers ever, and he dislikes he'd run the rest of my points about individual Templars.
I think looking at a war-torn kingdom, a religious war no less, and thinking we need to unite humanity under one single banner no matter the cost is an incredibly understandable worldview, even if it's one we find reprehensible in the liberated 21st century. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he gives that any credence, and it really frustrates me. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he really thinks about that angle at all. Like, I think I'm assuming that we all agree that the Templars are wrong, but here's all of the ways that, despite being wrong, you can understand why they would do the things they did. You understand why Robert tries to do what he does. You understand why Massoon let the Templars in. Like, it's not that everything is grey. It's that I am highlighting the positives in what is ultimately a group of people that do bad things. And how that reflects on Altair and his part in an order that tries to do good things, but has a lot of systemic issues within it.
It could be something they retconned in a comic, knowing Ubisoft, but those aren't real and don't exist. When it comes to the Animus, Vidic is saying there is no room for misinterpretation, which is very much an analogue to the way that Al-Mualim views the creed.
No, it isn't.
Washington himself. I just wish it wasn't done through a...
What? Why? Are you going to explain it? I guess it's just Misk thoughts.
Interpretation, which is very much an analogue to the way that Al-Mualim views the creed.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't care.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, that was a Cinema Sins.
I just wish it wasn't done through a bloated 3-episode long dream sequence that is of no consequence.
Yes, but it gave us this, so I'll let it slide.
Wait, gave us what?
Is of no consequence.
Yes, but it gave us this.
What am I gave us what? The outfit? Connor's muscles? Is that it? Connor's abs? Maybe that's it. Connor's topless in the main game, though. So, it means the costume, I think? I think he means the muscles. I think that's what he means. Like, Connor's sexy body. But he is topless in the main game, so we get that there too.
So I'll let it slide.
Real quick though, how are they communicating? Like, is Altair...
Oh god, please don't pick me up on this. This was just a funny joke. Like, it doesn't actually matter. But, like, it's just funny to think about. Oh, God.
Is speaking English, or is Richard speaking Arabic?
Richard was known to use a translator. However, it's also pretty reasonable to expect that Altair, as a master assassin, picked up French and English to better do his assassination and spying work.
Who the fuck did...
Yeah, maybe, but it was just a joke. Oh, God, this is annoying. This is so annoying. We still have 20 minutes left. I don't want to do this. All right, let's keep going.
You kill? Seriously, I've never thought about this line before, but what the fucking hell is he talking?
Oh, great. What are we doing? What was this?
Who the fuck did you kill?
He said thousands, didn't he? Something like that.
Seriously, I've never thought about this line before, but what the fucking hell is he talking about? Did he confront all of the Crusaders or something with the apple? I can't find anything about this online. What an insane thing to drop out of nowhere.
Why didn't he give the context of what I was talking about?
Crazy bastard.
Dude, this is the mentor of the entire Assassin Brotherhood. I'm pretty sure he got that rank by being good enough at killing other people to teach other people how to do it.
Altair.
I need to find that exact line, because I need to know exactly what William said, actually. AC1 all cutscenes.
Examine some great hypocrisy on the part of the...
AC1 all cutscenes. Let's find it.
Me in common and ensure the annihilation of your entire order. Well done.
Give me his name.
Oh, but you... How'd you do it, Desmond? Hey...
Oh, yeah, that's the line, yeah. Yeah, I faced thousands of men, all of them dead by my hand. Maybe that is what he means, but thousands is crazy. Like, thousands is a lot of people to kill. That is what I thought. If he just said hundreds, I'd been like, oh, maybe that's just his assassination targets. Thousands feels like a lot, though, right? Thousands? I don't know.
Sort of flounders at the idea that peace through violence is a contradiction, to which Altair says, some men cannot be reasoned with. Richard takes that point and refers to Saladin, to which Altair sort of goes, oh, wait, no, I didn't mean it like that.
Well, yeah, because he actually didn't. It's crazy how this is the climax of Altair's character arc and you are still talking like this. Altair isn't floundering here. He's talking to a brutal warmonger who, of all people, has taken time out of his conquering to say, yet you participate in violence. Strange. I will remind you...
What? Yeah, wait, hang on. No, okay, no. That's not what I was saying. I'm not taking issue with the fact that Richard says, oh, you do violence just like I do violence. I was taking issue, actually... Wait. Yeah, with the fact that... Wait. Is he agreeing or disagreeing with me? The fact that Altair does do this thing... But he doesn't... Altair's conclusion is not that people shouldn't die. He literally goes and kills Al-Mualim after this. A risk of nitpicking the same level as him, I feel like you actually don't need to be a seasoned killer in order to start a death cult. I think you just need to be a good communicator. Yeah, I agree. It might be 1,000 men. Oh. Maybe it is 1,000? Yeah, it might be 1,000. Exactly 1,000. Even still. Thousands would not be accomplished by Al-Mualim in his time as mentor, surely. I don't know. Obviously, we know he didn't found it, but, like, in AC1, Al-Mualim was the first, right? The first assassin? No. Wait, what? No. It was still, the idea of AC1, which is what's so interesting about AC1, is that it follows real history. AC1 is where the deviation occurs. That's why it's set here. That's what's so interesting about it. Is, like, the Assassins was still founded in Alamut by, Shit. What's the bloke's name? I've forgotten it. Just completely blanked the guy's name. Someone will say it in chat. It was still founded by him, and then afterwards we end up in this position where Al-Mualim is Rashid ad-Din Sinan. And AC1's idea, Bayek, and AC1's idea was that this is where the Hassan, it's Saba, whatever, which is when, let me find it. Hassani Saba. It was 1124 he died. So he was born in 1050. So he founded the Assassins. And this was around, well, it would have been probably around 100 years before AC1 takes place. No, more like 80. 70 to 80 years before AC1 takes place. And so in AC, we shock the dogs to serve the light. In AC, everything in history happened exactly the way it did, basically, other than like Isu stuff, blah blah blah. Like, there's obviously differences, but like in terms of the Assassins, everything in history happened the way it did. AC1 is where we get the deviation, where things are different from real life. Up until the modern day, which is what's cool about it. That's the historical context, but I don't think AC1 ever explicitly says. Well, yeah, okay, AC1 doesn't explicitly say it, but I think it's implied. That's just what I've always. I guess I assumed it. I guess AC1 doesn't actually say it, but I always assumed, like, it plays so closely with history that you have to assume the real history is the case, because history is such a major part of AC1. Like, Desmond talks about reading history books and I was gonna say Alfred. What's his name? Fuck. Wait. What's his name in the modern day? Oh my god, Vidic. Vidic talks about the Animus being able to see real history undoctored and everything, and so I think there's a real sense that history is real. But the Animus allows us to see this slightly altered perspective. I don't think it was ever supposed to be alternate history where, like, the Assassins were actually founded by Al-Mualim, there was no one in Alamut, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think all of it was supposed to be pretty real. And I think also, like, the Templars as well, like, were founded by Hugh the Pains and everything. And then it was sort of like, Robert is this breakaway, and Altair is this breakaway. It's both of them breaking away at the same point. Shock Vidic. Founded by Liam Payne, yeah, exactly.
He's saying this about Saladin when King Richard is the foreigner invading a land, Saladin is defending. Altair is giving both of these rulers significant grace, considering that he earlier suggested...
Actually, that's true. Let's just move on from that. I think that's actually true and fair.
Icing both of them to end the war quickly.
Would you have me kill them both then? End their war before it begins in earnest?
That's actually really fair.
Acknowledge that. Alright, now for that spiel about Templars.
Templars and the nature of evil. Oh god, I'm really scared. I don't want to do this anymore, man. I really don't want to do this anymore. I'm exhausted. Okay, let's keep going.
Quite often, I see people who are willing to praise Assassin's Creed 1.
You know what? Can we just watch the 2x speed, maybe? No offense to the guy. I don't know if we need to watch this.
Level its morality is, how ambiguous things are between the Templars and the Assassins. And I don't at all disagree with that. But what makes me aggravated to no end is when it becomes what people assume the story is telling them in its entirety. For the record, I'm not sitting here saying Assassins actually are always heroes and Templars are always evil. That would be stupid and in direct defiance of this story. It's true that Assassin's Creed encourages careful review and not simply labeling one side good or bad without properly engaging with them. But I see so many people claim that the crux of Assassin's Creed's story is that the Templars have some good points, and everything is morally grey. That take is very prominent throughout the original Lasers video, but that sole video is not the reason I made this response. I made it because that take is every-
No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm highlighting the morally grey aspects, but I ultimately believe the Templars are wrong. The issue here is that the Assassins in this period are not heroic or good. That's the thing. Altair is. And he ultimately changes the assassins to be a force for genuine good. The difference in AC1 is that it's two conflicting forces. The assassins have kind of lost their way. They're way more complex, and the fight is way less about freedom and equality and humanity, and way more about their own personal vendetta. And then the Templars is like, there's some interesting points the Templars have despite ultimately being wrong. But when you go ahead to Ezio's time, it's like, yeah, Templars are bad, assassins are good. That's obvious. That's just the way things are. Even if there's some internal critiques you can have of the assassins, even in like the modern day, the assassins are ultimately right and ultimately good.
It's been the default way people talk about the OG Assassin's Creed for years, and it's exhausting, because it's a reductive take that quite often relies on making Assassin's Creed out to be deeper than it really is, and in the process, ends up presenting it in a way that is not as deep as it legitimately is. If it sounds like I'm talking in circles, then let me get to the point. Assassin's Creed does not tell you as the player that the Templars might be right, or that their goals are even all that noble. What it does tell you is that evil is easy to fall for. Yes, it does dip its toes into that territory a little bit with its embrace of diverse thought on the matter, especially with Lucy and Almualo.
But they are the bad guys, right?
If there's one thing I've learned since I started working here, it's that there's no such thing. It's all so relative.
What do he and his followers want? A world in which all men are united. I do not despise his goal. I share it. But I take issue with the means.
Yeah.
But Assassin's Creed, for all the dumbing down it would do in later entries, actually asks a lot of an inquisitive player, and properly addressing it or its characters relies not on hearing there is no black and white conflict ever, but watching what the characters say they believe versus what their actions say about them. A very quick way to display the disconnect I have with this video is to talk about a key phrase that has become more and more prominent in online discourse nowadays. Hopefully you've already heard it and practiced it, but if not, here it is. The purpose of a system is what it does. This phrase has become a common talking point specifically because it calls to cut through the bullshit. There's no point in claiming that the purpose of a system is to do what it constantly fails to do, is how the coiner, Stafford Beer, succinctly described it. It's become political in its usage for very obvious reasons if you happen to live in the Western world, but it's applicable anywhere. To start with an easy example, let's take insurance companies. That's a good one. Ostensibly, the purpose of health insurance companies, such as United Healthcare, in their own words, is to make sure people have access to high-quality healthcare at a reasonable price. In other words, to keep struggling people alive if they just pay up every month. What these insurance companies actually do is intake exorbitant amounts.
Hang on, I gotta get a towel. I just knocked the fucking bottle over. 2 seconds. Oh no! Oh no! My El Gapo! Thank God it was basically empty. Oh no. Everything smells like beer. Okay, we're fine. Hold on. My Elgato's getting drunk. Hold on, actually, 2 seconds. Okay. Where were we? I need to speed run a shower. Hope the fun isn't over when I'm done. Better run. Nah, I'm sure it won't be. What is this? AC1 does a pretty poor job at making the Templars grey, though. AC3 and AC4 do the thing AC1 tried to do properly. I don't agree. Especially not AC4. The only grey one that's, like, interesting is Torres. Other than that, I guess Hornigold somewhat. Trying to think who the other fucking Templars are. Lawrence Prince. Who else is there? Rogers? I don't think they do anything with Rogers. I think that historically, if you know about him historically, and then you see his portrayal in Assassin's Creed, you could extrapolate some nuance. But I don't think in Assassin's Creed they do a lot with Rogers. Julian Ducasse, yeah. No. I think Rogers, like, maybe if you have historical knowledge, but Torres is really the only one. I think AC3 you probably have a better argument with, but I haven't played that in so long that I just don't think I can give you a reasonable opinion. But I think they definitely try, that's for sure. I mean, it's something that Corey May likes to do, so... you know, like, obviously Hatham. I think Charles Lee is probably the least grey, whereas everybody else has at least some amount of greyness to them. Probably not Thomas Hickey either, but I think his ideology plays into the idea of, like, who could become susceptible to the Templars' ideology despite, you know, XYZ. Rogers is kind of grey, isn't he? Like, he's portrayed as evil in the game to make him out like to be the bad guy, but looking at it from the outside perspective, and piracy isn't all about freedom and such, and the piracy isn't all about freedom and such, he is nuanced, but the game doesn't portray him that way. The game doesn't set out to make that point. Yeah, I don't think the game makes it central to, like, his characterization or anything. He's kind of just a antagonist. Torres is really the only one that, like, in the text is, like, interestingly nuanced, I think, probably, but...
For people who have reason to believe they'll need medical assistance at some point, and then not only deny coverage for important and often life-saving medicines and procedures, but actually intervene to stop them so as not to even risk having to front the bill for a dying individual, despite the individual having paid them to do so. In case you missed a certain book published in 2010, or a very prominent assassination that occurred in 2024, the obvious point here is that you could not fix or reform the healthcare industry because it's not broken. It's doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Healthcare execs can say that the purpose of the system they get rich off of, and then force through lobbying, is to save people from paying for unnecessary surgeries, as if they're some kind of great beneficiary, but the sole truth is that they're here to profit, often at the expense of people's actual lives.
Yeah, alright, fine, I'll slow down the speed.
The same greed is why car insurance companies will simply say both parties are at fault in an accident, even if they're not, so that they can raise the rates on monthly insurance for years at a time.
I agree with this, by the way.
For a less dramatic example,
I don't need to agree, like, it's fact.
Ubisoft, or a lot of game companies under scrutiny right now. Clearly, what they would tell you is the purpose of their management and operation is to make fun games. But they make rushed-out, buggy, formulaic games that leave players very unsatisfied and feeling taken advantage of, with more microtransactions than the average person has cells in their body. The latter is the actual purpose of Ubisoft as a game company. Trying to argue otherwise is just naive. The reason going into it this far is to make it clear why I confidently say the Templars have some good points is a reductive take, and why I tell you Assassin's Creed actually deconstructs that. The Templars, as presented to us in Assassin's Creed, are themselves a fantastic example. Your chemo for the masses segment, Lasers, is the first part where I thought you made a wild error in reading the text of the game, especially given that it's not very subtle about what it's doing. At 05616, you say,
that Vidic is nuanced. He's not just a one-note evil character. He has redeemable qualities, even if he is a bit of a dick.
I like the way you start this off, but I think where you take it is a far cry short of where I ended up with it.
He does listen to Lucy, and he does speak with Desmond. He's very beholden to the Templars and their ideals. He does believe in the Order, but that doesn't automatically make you a bad person, especially when what the Templars really want is peace.
That last part is where it goes off the rails, and I think it's what led to this video being so painful whenever it doubles down on this. You bring up how Abstergo, aka Templars, are extremely powerful and effective.
This conversation, though, does touch on something important. We didn't know yet at this point that Abstergo were Templars, but Lucy tries to imply it. They're everywhere. They watch everything, and I love this little tease.
How did they find me? I mean, I haven't been anywhere near another assassin for 10 years.
Use your real name?
Nope. Not before today.
Credit cards?
Cash only.
Telephone?
There's no one to call.
Driver's license?
Motorcycle. Guilty pleasure.
There's your answer. Photo, fingerprint.
This is a drug company. What does Abstergo have to do with the DMV?
Desmond, these guys are everywhere. I'm sorry, I really can't talk about it.
Vidic admits as much in one of his conversations with Desmond.
We change the world. Every day, in 100 different ways. Did you know that nearly every single breakthrough of the past millennia, be it medical, mechanical, or philosophical, has come from Abstergo or its predecessors?
That's a bold claim, Doc. Think you might be exaggerating a bit?
Not in the slightest. Oh, we certainly don't take the credit. That would arouse far too much suspicion. We choose our beneficiaries with great care.
Why?
Isn't it obvious? It means we're in control.
He basically spells out that the Templars are in power and have been guiding humanity for ages now. And then you get into this particular conversation with Vidic.
There's no true change to be had without comprehensive, systemic intervention.
Chemo for the masses.
Education, or re-education, to be more precise. But it's not easy, and it doesn't always take...
I know what he's gonna say
Dude
here.
is fucking right here.
No, he isn't. He is very much not. Literally, the only thing correct Vidic said here is that systemic change is needed to make a real change. Everything
that's
else
what
he
I meant,
said
yeah.
was psychotic. Alright, I'm being dramatic here, but
Yeah, that's what I meant, though. Maybe I need to spend... Like, this is the exact reason my videos get longer and longer. Because because people mistake what I fucking say. I have to spell everything out word by fucking word. I did not mean... The chemo for the masses thing, the fucking education, re-education, the systemic... there is no change to be had without real systemic intervention. That is the bit where I'm like, that is correct, because that's what assassins do. I mean, that's what assassins don't do. That's the thing. They kill people, but they don't have any real systemic intervention in society. That's the thing that I'm talking about. You don't need to specify, you cannot let this fester in your brain. Yeah, but this happens a lot. Like, I get so many comments where people just do not fucking understand me, and they just assume the wrong thing. Which is, like, the entire point of what I do is to explain myself. And if I can't do that properly, then I'm failing. Sums up the video. And this is why production changed the headstone from William to Billy in the Stranger Things 4 trailer. Marketing feared that the audience wouldn't know that Billy is a nickname for William. Is that real? I think you have to risk misinterpretation when you're making a point, and that's kind of how it be. I know, but I find it very hard. I feel like 9% of people get what you're saying, and only people looking for issues will come away with conclusions like this. Yeah. You need to condemn slavery in your next video? Yeah, I think I do too. This is really annoying me, because this is not at all what I meant.
The game at this point is very much trying to highlight to you that the Templars have noble ideals baked into their organization. Ideals that serve as justification, not core belief. That's why they have him drop the word re-education as a nod to indoctrination and eventually outright brainwashing. Think of the word re-education and tell me what word usually follows it, and what context it's usually found in. Google it if you have to. I'll wait. This is also why they give you the ability to snoop through Lucy's and Vidic's emails to see what the Templars are actually...
Dude, come on. This is so uncharitable. Why isn't he understanding what I'm saying? It's literally the next point I make is that Vidic has a point with the systemic intervention. In the assassins just kill people and then don't bandage the wound. They just allow it to, bleed. Because they don't want to intervene and they want to allow for freedom. But they'll kill people they disagree with. And so, yeah, they remove the tyrannical leaders, but then they just let things sit. Because they don't want to rule and they don't want to be in charge. They don't want to, upset the established order too much, but they want to get rid of the people that are harming everybody else. So it's that's important to talk about. But I'm not agreeing with Vidic here. I'm saying that the point he makes is interesting because it is a valid critique of the assassins, despite the fact that Vidic is ultimately wrong, as we all know. He is the antagonist.
Through it, you see that the Templars basically control the world already, a feature of the game you remark on, Lasers. Their big game plan is basically in its final stages already, with them trying to just skip to the actual brainwashing now. But by and large, they already control the entire planet. And look what they've done with it. The situation in America is getting so bad that hundreds of people are getting shot trying to flee to Mexico, entire towns are being poisoned, climate change has ramped up so badly that hurricanes are a year-long occurrence now, a fucking plague wiped out Africa, and colonialism has been revived. This is the world as the Templars desire it, a nightmare for anyone without the money and resources they dominate.
I agree.
This feed of information you mentioned lets us know very clearly that the Templars have pretty much realized their goal, and that if they got what they're after by this point in the timeline, peace wouldn't even be on the agenda. The Templars, not always as individuals, but definitely as an organization, do not want peace. At a very generous best, they want order. And really, even that's a stretch of the definition, with it being a lot more accurate to say that what they desire is control at any cost.
Yes.
I understand that the game can make players think this is the case, given how Al-Mualim describes Robir's vision of Templar ideology.
I do not despise his gold. I share it.
But reading into it further, literally in the case of the emails, demonstrates very handily that the Templar ideology is largely full of shit, as are most of its movers and shakers. That's the main difference between the Assassin's Creed and the Templar Code. The former pushes for wisdom, while the latter is a vehicle for men to grab power. But if a man tells you he has a good reason to seek power, how much
Does he
should you
think
trust
I
him?
don't agree with this? What does he think my morals are? How has he extrapolated that I don't agree with him based on me saying that Vidic's sentence was interesting to analyze? What is going on?
This is a great conversation because it's one of the few times you're like, shit, he's got a point. If you kill a tyrannical leader, odds are their spot is just going to be filled by another like them. But if you take over, you're able to create comprehensive systemic intervention. By controlling the systems that oppress people, you're able to create a better life for those who need it through re-education.
Jesus Christ, man.
Getting your hands dirty, getting involved and taking direct responsibility for those changes, something assassins refuse to do.
Is he not listening to my words and the nuance of what I'm saying? The fuck? Just insulting
First of all, this
me.
was a fucking terrifying thing to hear you say. Please never say anything like this
What?
again. But more to the point, remember what I said about the purpose of a system?
It was a comment on the fact that assassins kill people but allow other tyrannical leaders to take their spot. What does he think I was saying? What does he think I was saying? That it's so terrifying for me to say? I'm so confused. Why did he email me beforehand? He clearly thinks I'm, like, morally compromised based on his misunderstanding of my Assassin's Creed video essay. What is going on?
What it does? The Templars are indeed in control of the systems that oppress people, to the point of controlling election outcomes. And guess what? The people are still being oppressed, worse than ever in fact. The views espoused by Vidic and by the occasional other Templar might serve as an interesting way to look at the conflict, but the Templar Order's actions and what they do when given power make it very clear that the system they want to put in place is not going to be one that actually works towards peace at all. It's going to be a worse version of what they've already done. Ruin lives, destroy opposition, and achieve absolute power. That's the end result because that's what their order actually wants. Now, when said like this, it obviously sounds like the Templar...
Yeah, I literally agree with him. I'm so did he watch my vid? I'm so confused.
Templars are basically pure evil and that there's no nuance to be had, but that's not true either. Hindsight is 20/20, and a lot of this information is only available at the literal end of the game. So let's look at another quotation to try and understand why I'm taking the stance that I do.
I applied my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also was a chasing after wind.
Hey, thanks, Fish.
Is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge, increaseth sorrow.
This quotation from the Ecclesiastes, which is so central to Al-Mualim's character, is why I say that the lesson Assassin's Creed 1 tries to leave its players with is that evil is easy to fall for. Knowing the true extent of the world's problems, knowing how far greed and violence can be taken, will leave you a mess. It's visible today in how many people are in absolute despair, as despots destroy indigenous populations and bake violence into the cultures they're charged with leading. Throughout your original video, Lasers, you hesitate a lot to use that word, evil. But I think you did so with the conscious interpretation of evil as a word applied to people, rather than actions. As Altair says, we are what we choose to be. Good men can choose evil, desperate men can choose evil, heinous men can choose evil. The old man of the mountain knew too much and saw weakness in himself and in humanity.
Maybe, but that's just being pedantic.
Like Sabrand and Garnier and Abul, the things he saw tormented him, and he did what he thought was necessary until it was left to his best student to put him down and make a choice of his own. Choices are impacted by a lot of different factors, and the sum of a man is usually not what he is in his worst moments. Conversely, not every man is going to be Al-Mualim, a tragic hubris that caused a fall from grace in an otherwise respectable person. Some are going to be Majdadeens or Marquise Williams, or Jubairs, who take advantage of people in sorrow and use their knowledge to cause even more of it. The world requires men to be free so that the chance of triumphing over evil remains. This is how Assassin's Creed builds up the Templars as a worthwhile foe throughout ages of assassination clans standing to oppose them. They are tempted to evil by knowledge and can't pull themselves away.
Oh god, what? I'm so confused about that segment. I'm genuinely so confused. I feel like kind of personally offended. I am very confused. Because I don't disagree with anything that he said. I think he just completely misinterpreted. I just think he's taken when I've analyzed a part of the art as an interesting artistic, like, thing to look at. I don't know the word, I'm just using the word thing. Like, it's an interesting part of the art to analyze. And instead of understanding that, he's taken it as, I believe this thing, and think that these are my morals, and, like, my politics, and my, like, internal philosophies, which is just not true. I do, like, what Vidic is saying, I do not agree with. I'm just saying that in the argument, he is correct in what he's saying. There is no change to be had without real systemic intervention. That is a true fact that he is saying. Do I agree? I don't know. Not necessarily, no. But I think it's an interesting and good point to make in the argument he's having with Desmond. That's what's interesting. It's an interesting point to make. Like, yeah, in that instance, in that specific context, he's right with what he's saying. Is he right as a person? Fuck no. Vidic is evil. We know this. I don't need to say it out loud. We know that. I'm not highlighting that aspect. It's crazy. It just bothers me because it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know how you think this is an interesting point or whatever is your full-throated take. Yeah, exactly. This guy seems to have a problem with a version of you that he made up in his head. That's how it feels, yeah. I think what happened here is that he watched 10 minutes of the video and hopped straight to make this video, and I genuinely can't believe the conclusion. And I genuinely can't believe the conclusion you came with, that I came with. Because you're picking something out as, in terms of what the game is saying, this adds another interesting layer to the debate. And he's like, oh, you think this is interesting? You're persuaded by that? Yeah, that is exactly what is going on. Like, I mean, maybe if you don't know me, maybe it's easy to think that, maybe? I don't know. Like, my analysis of AC1 is everything I'm saying is good or interesting is, in an artistic sense, it is good or interesting and adds to the layers of depth that exist in the game. Not good in an extrinsic moral sense, where I'm like, oh, what he's saying is a good point, and that's something that I should consider in my real life. Like, no, that's not what I'm fucking saying. I have very strict morals, very strong morals, that Assassin's Creed does not really play a part in, especially not Vidic's opinion on re-education, or what Al-Mualim has to say on the fucking Holy War, or any of that shit, or control through fucking, peace through control. I don't agree with any of that shit, but I think that in an artistic sense, what he's saying is interesting in the context of the analysis of the game. But it's weird to extrapolate that and be like, oh, because you think that's artistically interesting, you agree with it. Like, no, what are we doing? That's so strange. He seems to misinterpret your point about good character meaning a well-written character as good character meaning morally good in relation to real life. I don't know. Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? I don't know, man. 2016 lasers might agree with that. Okay, maybe, but we're not in 2016 anymore, thank God, so I think we're okay. What would Vidic do? I've got no idea where to stand with him. He makes the odd good point, but then there's castles mean nothing, and the game doesn't criticize the creed, which makes me question if this is rage bait or not. I think by this point I've realized it's serious, but the first 10 minutes did come across as rage bait, which was really weird. But by this point I'm like, no, okay, he clearly thinks what he's thinking.
So I'm almost done with
castles don't mean anything is wild, though.
This video, but I want to do one last thing before I end it off, and that's to take a look at the one segment that I thought was important, but couldn't cleanly fit into either the Assassin segment or the Templar segment. Can you bring up a certain part of Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
I used a clip from the Valhalla audio logs in my Revelations video, where Desmond ponders on this exact thing, only a few days before he'd give his life to the Temple.
I fully admit to not playing Valhalla. Like I said before, I tapped out of Assassin's Creed after Black Flag, with Desmond's death being not the sole reason, but a huge one as to what made me give up on the series. I almost got into it again when Odyssey was announced, because, Greeks and gay people, two of my major interests, but Ubisoft nipped that in the bud before I made my ultimate decision, and I remained separated from the series with a prejudice. So, this is some of my only experience.
I mean, fair enough, but the fact that Odyssey is the one thing that made you almost play it again is we're going to have some issues, buddy, alright? We're going to have some fucking issues. I'll fight you on the field of battle.
With Valhalla in particular. Having said that, I will fully say that I did know there were Desmond audio logs, and this audio log in particular changes nothing about my perception of that game, or Ubisoft, or the point you're trying to make here. Because, and I need to stress this, that is not my Desmond Miles. Desmond Miles would not fucking say this, and you cannot convince me otherwise. In fact, fuck you, Ubisoft. I know what you were doing. Nostalgia bait, like always, you money-hungry fucks. This does nothing for me. This does nothing at all. You want me to come back to the series? You want to dangle Desmond over my head like this? Yeah, how about you unkill him off, and then we'll talk. Alright, let's get serious now.
Because choice is the central idea of our creed. It underpins everything, right? It's about free will. It's about seeing the evidence before you and saying, yes, this is what I want, or no, this isn't for me. But when you're born into a group like this, or any other, like I was, you get mixed signals. You get told over and over again, this is what we believe. These are the rules. This is reality. No deviation. And if you question it, oh, they look at you like you killed a puppy. That's hardly free will. It's a weird irony when free will is your central belief.
What? What's his problem with this? It's really good.
But nobody wants you to believe otherwise. I don't know how to say it exactly, but I always thought there was something self-destructive about our creed. If free will is the most important moral guidepost we have, we should be free to ignore it. To choose submission, for example. You know what I mean? Like, we should be free to side with the Templars. If it's really my choice, I could do that.
Right. It's almost self-refuting.
Does he think this is Desmond's genuine opinion? I'm so scared that he's going to be like, why would Desmond say you should side with the Templars? Like, he's not actually fucking saying that, obviously. He's saying that, isn't it crazy how, like, if we were true to our freedom, you should be free to side with the Templars. He doesn't believe that. Desmond doesn't actually believe you should side with the Templars. He understands, like, logically and, like, you know, for the purposes of, like, you know, actual real life, like, obviously you don't side with the Templars. Obviously. Like, he knows that that's the case. He's like, he knows that's not the case and he knows why. But when pondering on the creed and sitting there and thinking about it philosophically, he's like, isn't it crazy that really, if we were all about free will, we should have the free will to leave the assassins and side with the enemy? Really, we should. To deny that is not allowing free will. So where do we draw the line, right?
Democracy could democratically elect a dictator or choose to get rid of democracy altogether. Within our creed is the seed of its own destruction. That's what makes it powerful, I think. And fragile.
Right. The more freedom you have, the more risky it is, you know?
Ubisoft doing this and thinking they're clever would be just such a Ubisoft thing to do, but what they're doing with this is the same thing Lasers did so often throughout this whole video. Boil the assassins down to their central creed, boil that very wide-reaching creed down to a single idea, and then criticize the assassins as a whole for it. If we're all about freedom, shouldn't we be free to side with these guys who don't want there to be freedom at all? Ah, yes, you got 'em, truly asking the important questions. It's just such a rote and basic gotcha kind of reading of assassin ideals. It isn't a strong questioning and doesn't say anything significant. It's just Ubisoft having Desmond all but yell, "So much for the tolerant left," and then thinking they wrote the house down. The assassins do embrace freedom, yes, but their organization, their methods, their practices, their culture, and their pursuits are all multifaceted and are a lot more complex than just freedom good. If the assassins as a whole actually did engage in indoctrination and cult of personality, then there might be a point to all this postulating about freedom. But they don't, so there isn't. Desmond wouldn't talk like this, because Desmond has lived 3 ancestors' lives and experienced the Brotherhood and its ideals from so many more viewpoints than the average assassin. My Desmond would not fall.
He's not, though. He's talking about the idea as a philosophical idea in a vacuum. He's just pondering on the idea. He's not stating his opinion. He's talking about the idea of it and discussing it openly with Sean. Like, here's a thing I've been thinking of. Like, why is this a thing when this is a thing? This is contradictory to this. He's not stating his fucking opinion. And also, yeah, there are no indoctrination between Altair and Desmond, but Altair and Desmond were both indoctrinated. They were.
For garbage like this. He would not say,
choice is the central idea of our creed.
Because it's not.
I understand now that our creed does not command us to be free. It commands us to be wise.
It is, as you said earlier in the video, Lasers,
straight up ripped off to invoke a nostalgic response with little to no actual narrative purpose.
You, after all, would know better than I would. So, yeah, that's my only response to that segment on...
So, our creed does not command us to be free, it commands us to be wise, is... First of all, how can you say that is the central pillar of the creed? Because you've just said that boiling it down to a single thing is wrong, so even that must be wrong. But second of all, this is Al-Mualim's Brotherhood prior to Altair's Reformation, so Altair must reform the creed in a certain way. And also, the creed is changed post that in Black Flag, where Mary says the same thing, like the creed does not command us to be free, it commands us to be wise, but she changes the wording because it's changed, because freedom is a central pillar of the creed post Altair. He can't tell the difference between earnestly speaking your heart and playing devil's advocate for the sake of exploring a theme or idea. Yeah, he just thinks everything is my genuine opinion. It's really, really strange. Like, the idea of being like, oh, this is really interesting. Yeah, let's talk about this. He's like, what the fuck would you talk about that for unless you honestly, earnestly believe it? Like, because it's interesting to ponder on, even if it doesn't form a solid, concrete opinion in my mind. That's crazy. Dude, Pro's never discussed a hypothetical scenario ever in his life. Yeah, this is weird. I always want to say, if he makes the argument that he lived through the lives of Altair, Ezio, and Connor, and does that mean living through the life of Hatham and doing good things as him, that doesn't count? What do you mean? He makes a good point. This guy, better than the fucking Templars. God. Alright.
Valhalla. Or Valhalla as a whole. Fuck Ubisoft.
I also agree with that too. I don't know if he knows my opinions on Ubisoft in general and Valhalla in general. Like, just because I give credit to some of the writing that Darby did on Valhalla doesn't mean that... Again, it's taking one opinion of one tiny aspect of a thing and then applying it to the broader everything, I feel like. Like, a lot of this feels like... I don't know. Like, that whole when he... quotes the thing about, like, using it as nostalgia to invoke a response or whatever I said. It's like he's saying that as a gotcha that I'm being hypocritical. I don't know if that's what he was doing, but that's what it feels like. And it's a bit weird. Before in the vid, he says that it's dumb of Desmond to say that he should be free to join the Templars when he lived as Altair, Ezio, and Connor, but then ignores the fact that he also lived as Hatham, a Templar. And when you play as Hatham, you do good things. Right, so he understands the nuance across multiple generations. Nah, I don't think he knows anything about you other than the AC1 vid. Yeah, I probably feel that way too. That's okay. But I feel like I do, like, it's fine not to know anything about me, but I do think if you're going to make comments on my morality and my character, then you kind of, I think, need to do your research and know about me, about my relationship to Ubisoft and my political alignment and or moral compass, I think, before you make comments like he did. There's some stuff in this video where, like, yeah, a lot of it is just, like, him misinterpreting, my analysis and stuff, and I think some of it's dumb and some of it's maybe a bit, like, abrasive or whatever, but who cares? But some of it is, like, kind of personally offensive, where it's, like, kind of misunderstanding my own morals, which is weird. Strange.
The Ezio trilogy is spectacular and manages to continue the story in a way that was never not satisfying and intriguing.
Well, you and I will disagree on that, but that's for next video.
That's also... Oh, God. Don't. Please don't. I'm not watching another one. That also took completely out of context what I said, because in that thing, I say that, like, they continue it in a way that is interesting and intriguing on, like, a plot and narrative level, yeah, but not a thematic and, like, symbolic one. Or even a, like, mechanical one and stuff like that. Like, it's... There's... Like, I make it very clear what I'm talking about in that. Like, I'm not saying that AC2 Brotherhood and Revelations do anything close to the first game. I make it very clear that they don't. It's, again, skipping on the nuance, but that's okay.
Let's back up a bit, though.
If it speaks to you, then it doesn't matter in the slightest.
Concisely put. I mean, this isn't the most extreme case of it, but this is how I feel. Assassin's Creed 1 is hardly a hated entry, but it definitely is underrated. And even if I disagreed with enough of the original points to make a response video, you'll find no argument from me that this is a brilliant game.
I genuinely believe that this game is a masterpiece in the most unique of ways.
It really was. Ubisoft has fallen so far, but they really did knock it out of the park with this one. And I take a lot of comfort in that. Gaming is kind of collapsing now, and I believe it was a Ubisoft exec who had the unmitigated balls to say gamers should get used to not owning games. Well, I own this one, and even if I should be put in a position where it's simply impossible for me to engage with the collapsing game industry and its anti-consumerism, I'll probably survive. I have a huge backlog of games that are masterpieces, and I can just play those. This is one of those games. One that's fresh and engaging every single time I come back to it.
Seriously though, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sitting through this, for listening to what I had to say, for indulging me, and hopefully some of it resonated with you. Or maybe made you look at the game differently, or, I don't know, maybe speaks to something you've always felt, but, always that dismissed, like, idiots and dumb people. Yeah, that's right. We won this time.
It did. I found out things about this game I never knew, even in my 18 years of owning it. You really do have a very uncommon love for this game and a really genuine appreciation for it. Like I said in the beginning, I don't have any ill will towards you, and I'm really enjoying the other videos you have in this series. Granted, I haven't finished the others yet, given the length, but I'm getting there. If you, as a viewer, are interested in any of the content that was discussed here, Lasers obviously does have a Patreon, and I would like to see more of his content keep coming, so I do advise you to go hit up his Patreon. Assassin's Creed is a worthwhile series, even if you just want to hear about it instead of playing it, so go do it. Also, if you're interested in my channel, please leave a comment, a like, or even subscribe. I've got so many videos planned.
It is very funny. It is very funny that it is very funny that he goes from, like, being kind and, like, considerate to, like, just being really aggressive and also attacking my character and morals, and then goes back to, yeah, good point, man, this was good stuff, alright, cool, let's, love you, man. It's like, what the fuck happened in the middle? What happened in the middle? It was so, blimey, what a video, fucking hell. I mean, all things considered, like, as response videos go, as much as I disagree with a lot of the stuff that he says, and, I think he misunderstood me in a lot of ways, he's clearly an intelligent person, and I also think the way that the video is structured and put together is thoughtful. I think there's some, as much as I disagree on a lot of stuff, and my main issue is that he's misunderstanding what I'm saying, which maybe could be a criticism of my video that I didn't clarify enough, which is fair enough. The one thing I will say, that castles don't represent anything thing is one of the dumbest things I've ever fucking heard. Like, genuinely, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. That's stupid. Genuinely brain dead. That's crazy. But beyond that, he seems like an intelligent guy, at least. Like, at least, you know, politically and socially, like, he's got a lot, like, you know, a lot of knowledge of what he's talking about. He seems pretty critical of, you know, the world in general and politics and stuff, which I think is ultimately more valuable than your analysis of a video game. But, you know, it do be like that. Turns out you know better than the fucking Templars. Let me play some music. There we go. It's not even like he said, no, the castle represents XYZ. He literally said it has no meaning. Yeah, that's what's so crazy. Castles, he literally said castles don't represent anything. It's just a building, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's weird because it felt like the video got smarter the longer it went along. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like the beginning was, like, really fucking dumb. And then it kind of got into territory where it was like, well, it seems like he's kind of got a brain, but, like he knows what he's saying, but there's an element of, like, you know, he's quite condescending and a little bit abrasive, and he's misunderstanding me a lot, but, like, he seems to have a firm grasp on what he feels, and he's pretty good at articulating it. I think the Jubair stuff was good. Yeah, I agree. I think the Jubair stuff was good. And I've always felt that that part of the video was my weakest part. I knew that when I was making it, but I just didn't have anything else to write, so I just left it. And I thought, you know what? It plays into my greater point. It's fine. These days, I probably would have changed it. But I think there's a lot that he's misreading and being very uncharitable in a way that paints me as believing some pretty terrible things that I do not believe. And I would like to think he doesn't think I believe those things. Because everything he said, I completely agree with. Pretty much. The artistic readings of some of what the characters are saying, I guess I don't agree with necessarily. But by and large, the ideological perspective that he poses of, like, a belief system that he has and his own morals, I agree with. Like, everything he said, I agree with. Like, where if he's painting stuff as, like, this person is wrong, this thing is wrong, doing this is wrong, this thing is right, we should do this, blah, 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 there was none of that I disagreed with. Like, none of that stuff I disagreed with. So really, the issues come from a disagreement on how we view the narrative, the way the characters speak, how we absorb that information, and I think also, I really do think he's misunderstood some of the things that I think. But it was fun. It was fun. It was interesting. To be fair, his next longest vid is 20 minutes long. It might be his first time analyzing something in this depth, which explains why the video gets more coherent as it goes on. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he got more, like, he sort of got more with it. Maybe. After watching this video, is there anything you would have trimmed down from the video? Are you happy with the way it is? I'd have to watch it again. I think if anything, I would have made it longer, to be honest. I think if anything, I would have made it longer. Because I think there's more things I could have gone in depth with. William, Probably some more stuff with Abul Nakud and Jubair would have been good to actually delve into a little bit more. And maybe the video does focus to... Maybe it would have been good to reiterate the Templars are evil. Like, I know we all agree that, and we all know that, but, like, maybe it would have been good for me to at least point out that, like, what some of them do is evil. And evil needs to be quelled, and that's why the Templars and the Assassins are necessary. And I think I do that in AC4, and I do that in my AC2 video. I think both of those videos, I do very much more talk about the systemic oppression that people face throughout history, and even in the current modern age, and how meaningful it is to push back against that. And I think, you know, I do that with talking about Bartolomeo's section in AC2, and a lot, you know, with regards to the pirates in AC4. I think those videos are a lot more focused on those elements. So maybe it would have been nice for my AC1 video to be less about the game and have a few more elements that are, like, reflective of what I believe personally. But I don't think there's much I would change, like, you know, lots. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a banger. I can't wait to do the fucking road to Kingdom Hearts 4 when that gets revealed. That's gonna be so fun to stream. I keep saying it, but I mean it. I'm excited for your AC3 video, man. Like, fully researched from all aspects. It's gonna be so good. I'm excited to do it. But blimey, it's gonna be a lot of work. I already have, like, quite a big reading list. Bigger than the Black Flag video. The Black Flag video I read... What did I read? I read Republic of Pirates, Under the Black Flag, one about women, which I didn't even quote in the video, I don't think, but I read it. It was about, like, female pirates, so, like, Anne Bonny, Mary Read, and other women that lived at the time. I also read... I read some of the John Locke essays, his collection of essays, which were insane, by the way, to read. Like, if you've... I don't know if anyone's ever read them, but they are so difficult to read. And I did talk about them. I think I quoted them once. Like, I genuinely think I quoted them one time in the video. Like, they didn't come up. But it did help as, like, a wonderful, like, foundation for some of the political landscape of the period, which was nice. It was nice to have that foundation in my mind when writing the script. I think it helped me, even if I didn't directly quote anything, just once. But they were very difficult reads. Very difficult reads. A lot of it, genuinely, like, they're not that long. Like, the books, like, it's a collection of essays, and it's, like, that thick. Like, it's really thin. But reading it, like, they were written in, you know, the period that AC4 takes place, like, just prior to that, really. So, like, late 17th century, I think. And some of it just did not make sense. I had to reread it, like, 4, 5, 6 times to try and, like, pick apart, like, what is he actually saying here? Because the wording of it is, like, so strange, because it's so old. So it just, like, makes such a little sense through like a modern, like, language perspective, but it definitely helped, like, once I'd sort of understood a bit of it for, like, the period. But yeah, I've got a few things. There's a book from Colin Woodard, who wrote Under the Black Flag, Republic of Pirates, and he's got some books about the formation of America and about the politics relating to that period. So that's going to be cool to read, because that'll be really useful for the AC3 video. And then I want to get some literature around the native tribes around that period in colonial America. I would like to know more about those specific people And I don't know, maybe I'll look into some, like, something related to, like, Britain and what was going on there, and, like, their expansion colonially, like, outside of not just the Americas, but other places. It will be a lot. So that would be, you know, interesting. And then there was something else I also wanted to add into that to read as well. And I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't remember, but there was another thing that I think I wanted to be part of. The reading list for that, just so I have all of that knowledge in my brain. I'll post when I do have the reading list, I will post it on Patreon. So there'll be that if people want to read the same stuff that I've been reading for the video. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I love your new office vibes. It's so warm and cozy. Is that a multi-7 calendar? It fucking is. Elva got it for me. She came home with it one day, and I was like, man, this is great. I'm hopefully going to get my shelves sorted soon, because, like, you can see they're, like, empty, and, like, they're supposed to be, like, I don't know quite what I'm going to do, because I believe the bottom half is going to be all cabinet, and then the top half is bookshelves. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, because I'm just realizing that most of my background is the bottom half. I'm going to have to figure it out when I put the shelves in. I might have to relocate my camera. To be fair, this was always a temporary spot for the camera. So I might... Yeah, I need to put my Christmas tree. I'll probably put it here, I think. Christmas tree can go there. And I think that'll be cool. But yeah, it's good. I really like this office space. It would be nice to have my camera in a position, because, like, if we look over here, you can see, like, there's my couch and my hang on, let me move that. You got my couch and my TV over there. There's my door. I got my light on the wall there. Like, it's a nice little space. And my rug, I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see that. That's fine. There's my thermostat. There we go. But yeah, we're rocking and rolling. Here, I just need to sort out my shit. Oh my god, my hair's a fucking mess. I need to get my hair cut. But I haven't been because I'm fucking depressed, so I just don't want to leave my house. I've just been playing the Arkham games. I need to get writing the, why is it so hot in here? Hang on a minute. Oh, because it says it's 16 degrees. Hang on, let me put my fan on instead. Oh, Assassin Christmas. Yeah, we will do it. We'll do Assassin Christmas. Don't fear. I think what I would like to do, actually, with my camera, thinking about it, is I would like to get a more zoomed out lens, like a wider lens. But it costs a lot of money. I think I have it in my Amazon wish list. Let me have a look. Oh, I've also been planning a return of... And look, I know I often talk about future plans for things, and then they just don't happen, so don't hold me to this, alright? But, I've been planning a lot of things that I would like to do. That's the thing. In my head, I've got a lot of things I would like to do, but my motivation is just shot. I can't do it. Like, I'm really struggling to push myself to do things. Shit, what the fuck is going on? Even though I want to do them, like, I've got all these ideas, but every time I come to do them, I'm just like, ugh, I just can't do it. Which is a bitch, but, you know, it is what it is. I'll be alright. How do I find my wish list on... Oh, lists, here we go. What is it? What is the fucking lens I want? The Sony 11mm f1.8 ultra wide, which is £360, and I cannot justify spending that. Oh my god, wait, it's 24% off now. Normally it's £470. I just cannot justify spending that. I cannot, but it would be so cool to have a wider lens. camera for streams and stuff. Maybe one day. But yeah, that's definitely not on the list right now to get right now. Do a charity stream for the lens. I need to do a charity stream for a charity at some point. Like I've said, that's the only time I'll play Mirage and like Shadows or whatever is for charity. Do you know what? Actually, I don't think I would. If I was gonna do a charity stream playing a new Assassin's Creed, I think it would be Hex. I think that's the one I'd probably do because it's a derby game, so there'd be that at least personal investment from me, rather than me just shitting on it the whole time, which I just think would be boring and miserable, to be honest. I mean, people would probably enjoy it, but like for me, I think it'd be boring and miserable. So I think if I was ever going to play one of the new games, it would have to be for charity. We'd have to raise a lot of money for a good cause, and I think Hex would be the one. But that's not a plan. It's just if I were to. But yeah, we'll do Assassin's Christmas soon. Wait, what was I saying? I forgot. I was going to say something and then I forgot. Oh, yeah, my plan. Yeah. I was, I want to bring back It's Lasboy. And maybe not properly, maybe not in a fully fledged way just yet. But I have a couple little things that I want to do. There's something I've been thinking of doing for ages, and I was going to do it on Patreon. But I think I decided why not just post it to YouTube, because I think it would actually just be good to share to everybody. So we are on It's Lasboy, yeah, the YouTube channel. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, which is I was prompted to do it because Jace's started his patient Let's Play of Assassin's Creed 3. I was thinking about doing like not a patient Let's Play, but like a thoughtful Let's Play of Assassin's Creed 1, where the idea is for it to be as immersive in the experience as possible, but also supplemented by my own commentary of narrative analysis, thematic analysis, why I'm playing in a certain way, little interesting tidbits here and there, and it would kind of just be a fun little thing for you to either immerse yourself in or just throw it on a second monitor or whatever while you're doing something else, just to hear me ramble and just to soak in the vibes or something. I thought that would be quite fun, and that would be something to do on It's Lasboy. Something like a lore playthrough, kind of, but less about the lore and more about the like actual substance and analysis of the like, you know, the themes and the story and the writing and like the mechanics, and like, so it'd kind of be like, it'd be off the cuff, so it wouldn't be scripted, but like how my retrospective goes through the game, it'd be like that, but almost even more in depth to an extent, where I get to comment on every little detail as it happens, and explain like why I play in a certain way, the best way to complete specific investigations, and like, you know, stuff like that. I think it would be quite a fun thing to do. And the other thing that I've been planning and thinking of doing, and this one is like, I know I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet, purely because I'm kind of worried about it. I think I'm worried to post it at It's Lasboy in general, because I made it into like a Final Fantasy channel, which was a mistake. And I'm worried that when I post to it, people are going to be like, what the fuck is this? You're supposed to be a Final Fantasy channel. And they're going to be disappointed that I'm just posting other shit. But it was always supposed to just be, you know, spin-off stuff, just random shit that I felt like posting. My take on things, my thoughts on this, you know, a stream highlight, a Let's Play video, a little, like, gameplay thing here and there, right? But I want to get back to it, and I need to just bite the bullet. So that AC series would be really cool to do. But also something that I've really been wanting to do, which is pure, like, I am so aware this is purely a me thing, like, just for me, and no one else is really going to give a shit, is I would really love to start playing Minecraft again, but, like, in an old school video format, where it's just like, you know, a 2013 Minecraft fucking Let's Play, where if you feel like it, you just throw it on in the background while you're doing something else. But purely just for me, because I just feel like playing it anyway, so I'm like, why not document it like I used to do back in the day, you know? Just record my time with it, unedited, just throw it up on its Lasboy, you know? Why not? A couple times a month, maybe? Just for a bit of fun. And I'd love to continue on my old world, and the idea that I had was to, like, relearn the game, because I'd like for it to be like a... to have a premise to it. So it's not just like a casual, just like, oh, I'm playing Minecraft for fun. It's also like got a bit of a goal to it. So it's like, I haven't played Minecraft properly since like 2014. Like every update that's come out has kind of passed me by. I don't really know what's in the game anymore. So the idea of it would be to play on my old world and continue my old series from when I was like a fucking kid. Because I love that world and it means a lot to me. And I included that in my homesick video because like I have a huge attachment to that world. And so doing that would be cool, but on top of that, it's like, right, so I need to do everything. So I look at the Minecraft timeline, I look at every update, and I'm like, what happened in this update? Oh, they added this and this and this. I need to master these things, find this biome, complete this task, before I move on to what's the next update? How can I, like, what do I do next? What's my next goal? To sort of relearn and understand modern Minecraft, which I think would just be a fun idea, which would be cool. And I did toy with the idea of streaming it, but I thought something that is so core to Minecraft for me is that casual, old-school YouTube video format. And I thought that streaming it would kind of take that away from me, and I don't think I would enjoy it anymore. So I thought doing it in like a video series would be kind of cool. So I thought it'd be nice. Just, you know, I'm not expecting a lot of people to be interested, but I thought it'd be fun to do just to throw, you know, just throw on in the background or whatever. So, I thought that'd be cool. But yeah. So there's a few ideas for its Lasboy, just to bring it back, do some casual bits here and there of stuff that I'm interested in. Because I was watching, over the last few weeks, a lot of my old stuff, like my old videos. Like watching some super old stuff that I did, and like it was really cool seeing like just a channel where I just kind of posted whatever I was interested in at the time. I was like, that'd be so cool to do again, like to just have its Lasboy to just be like, I'm just gonna post a thing that I'm interested in now that I want to create. So I thought that'd be cool. I think having chat input and what you do would also be a shame for Minecraft. Well, like everyone influencing what you do. Yeah, I agree. Because I think like a big part of it comes from the discovery. Like it's gonna be like playing it for the first time again in a lot of ways. And what I've done is I've set this up so I am like prepared to do it. Is I've written an introduction and I've edited it. It's like the first like 3-4 minutes of what will be the first episode of this series. Where it's like a scripted section where I establish the stakes, the concept, the premise, my own attachment to Minecraft and stuff like that. So it gives you a bit of an emotional in, I think, to give a shit about it. But also I took my old world, I deleted all the chunks around it, and then regenerated it again, so everything's like new, and that was cool to do. So like now I've got my house and that surrounding area dumped into a brand new modern Minecraft seed, which is fun. Back to the Future guided to Fortnite. How about you, me, and Ben, and someone else hop on, do some sick stuff, get some victory royales? Well, I'm never playing Fortnite, so unfortunately, can't be done. Yeah, like, I don't know, you're trying to build something and chat going, no, don't do that, do it differently, that looks ugly. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think Minecraft has standards with building, and one of the things I loved about the Patreon companion video to the Homesick video, where I built the little horse stables on my world, was that I didn't have to adhere to, like, this standard of how you build Minecraft builds. It was just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to build whatever I feel like. Just be creative and build just, like, a shitty little horse stables, and it turned out nice, and it was cool, and it was personal, and that was nice. So, you know, that's cool. So I think that'd be quite fun. Yeah, like you're building a castle and then chat says it has no meaning. You would love Fortnite? Fuck, we get Elva on it? Yeah, if you can fucking get hold of her. She ain't doing that shit. She's busy playing COD. Honestly, I could see Elva coming back to streaming with COD. I think she'll just be playing lots of COD, to be honest with you. Elva COD commentaries on stream, where she just sits and chats and plays COD. Actually, to be honest, that'd be a vibe. I think that'd be a vibe. Although Elva can't really multitask very well when she's playing COD, so I don't know if she'd be able to talk to chat properly. It actually might be a bit shit. I don't know. I suppose I could be there too if I'm playing with her, and I could read chat because I can multitask. So maybe, I don't know. Okay, I think we should wrap things up probably. Does everyone know what they used to call hoarding zombies in 2011? Maybe. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Who knows? Boot up Silksong? Nah, I ain't doing that. I will boot up Silksong when? In the week? Or... let me think. Could be this weekend, because the Game Awards is on the 11th, and I will be streaming it. What is this tune? This is... I can't find it. What is it called? The Last Wish, this is called. So... The Game Awards is on the 11th, right? On Thursday. I want to stream and do a Game Awards voting stream where I go through all the Game Awards categories and vote on it before then. And then after that, hop into Silksong. I think that's the plan. So maybe this weekend? Maybe? Because I was originally going to try and work on a Batman Arkham Origins video to put out in December, but I've scrapped it basically. And my next video will just be the games that made my 2025. That'll be my next video. I've decided to just take it easy and stop pushing myself, and I'm just gonna games that made my 2025. That'll be the last video of the year and my next video, and then after that will be I'm gonna try to do Yotei, KCD2 hopefully, and then AC3 video. That'll be the plan. So I have time this month now to just chill out and also start Silksong. So it will be my first run of Silksong, yeah. I haven't played Silksong. I finished well, I think you were there a few times. I finished Hollow Knight about a month or so ago. Maybe 2 months ago, was it? I don't really remember. And yeah. I'm ready to start Silksong now. So that'd be cool. And Tomb Raider, sure. Hey, Tomb Raider I will do. My plan is Yotei, KCD2, AC3, and then sky's the limit. Because I have nothing else on my plate. I can just decide. I would love to make the Tomb Raider video. I think that'd be a good one to do. Tomb Raider, Cars 3. That'd be cool. Final Fantasy 9 video, it's coming. We'll see. I was thinking about not doing... Do you know what? I've been thinking about this. I said this to Elva the other night. Is I think my videos need to take more of a specific stance and be a specific essay type thing rather than just like full critiques, retrospective analysis. More... Unless I have something to say on every aspect of a game, I think my videos need to be a specific aspect of a game rather than broadly everything in the game. And so I was thinking about making a video on like the idea of like, or the theme of like legacy, mortality, and existentialism, nihilism, all of those things wrapped into one. And to use Final Fantasy IX, Persona 3, maybe Dark Souls 3, and some other things as like a joint kind of exploration of that idea and the way that video games like explore it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've just been feeling really shit recently. So I think there's a part of me that's like, man, games that explore feeling like shit would be cool to do. And Final Fantasy IX and Persona 3 kind of have that. Dark Souls 3 sort of has that too. As well. This idea of like inescapable dread. And overcoming that as well. Bro got depressed and immediately started contemplating death. I've been thinking about death recently as the opening line of like a killer video. I've been thinking about death recently. Oh my god. You say go see your take ACG2 and that'll be all for 2026. Yeah, you're right, it will be. We'll get to December and I'll be like, guys, this KCD2 video is coming out soon. It's a good shout, I reckon. Also a bit of a positive challenge for yourself. Not being able to talk about all aspects of the game, but solely one point. Yeah, I think it'll make writing a bit more focused and a bit more, you know. I want to check autism in with all those isms you just said. Yeah, true. That's another aspect of Final Fantasy IX. More specific essay about parts of games is generally more interesting. Yeah, I think it's more fun to write too. I think I've been finding myself really trapped and stuck where writing is concerned, and I think it would be nicer to write about more generalized thematic links between art rather than focusing on one specific thing, unless I have a ton to say about it. To be honest, even Clair Obscur could fit into that video. I think there's a lot of Clair Obscur that would work, especially like because it's very heavily inspired thematically by Final Fantasy IX. It has to be. There's so much Final Fantasy IX in there. So I think that would be really interesting as well. There is a video forming in my mind. This is the most interesting thing. Like, this happened with the Homesick video, it happened with the Open Worlds video, is there's this feeling of, like, I can feel the video starting to come together in my head, and that's when I know I'm like, okay, this is one that I really want to write. Rather than just like, oh, let's make a retrospective on Arkham Origins. It's like, I have this idea, and I can see it all, you know? It feels like it feels like linking the little blobs in the Sherlock Holmes games. That's what it's like in my head. This video contains spoilers for Silksong and also the Old and New Testaments. Wait, is that the Jacob Geller video that I haven't seen yet? Because I haven't played Silksong. I'm writing a really fun essay at the moment. I love writing really fun essays. What is it about? Yeah, I think you could do some really interesting stuff with that, where you can pull from a number of games you really love to illustrate points on themes you feel deeply interested in exploring. Not like you're tied to exploring one game in its entirety. Yeah, I think it's cool to like use it to make a point, because it also gives your work more of a narrative of its own. Like, I think my Homesick video, my Open Worlds video, it's less about, like, here's just one guy's opinion on a game. It's more like I'm using art to navigate an idea, and it gives my video its own narrative with its own personality. And I think it's more expressive and feels good. James, would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games, unlimited games, and no games? What? Would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or games, unlimited games, and no games? Isn't the second one just like... That's what we have now, I feel like? That's my Steam library. Would like to Gil's videos are centered around themes rather than games. Yeah, I really like that. Completely unrelated question. Are you still considering doing the RTD2 Season 2 video? Considering it, yes, but I'm not making it. And I don't know whether it'll ever come out. Do you know what? I think it depends on what happens after the Christmas special. I think if RTD leaves after the Christmas special, I might be more inclined to do it. If he sticks around, I might just drop it, because who cares? But I think if RTD leaves Doctor Who, then I might do like a Joy to the World through to 2026 Christmas special critique, maybe. Depends how I feel by the end of that point, maybe. I really did feel it earlier this year. There was like, oh man, I really would like to make it. It felt really good, and I wrote like the first page of it. And then it just kind of trailed off. I think writing just takes me so long. That it gets frustrating. It's like I have the idea in my head, and I kind of just want to immediately just, you know, create it. But I can't. It's like it takes time to craft. And it pisses me off how long it takes. Do you know what? I should just use AI. I should use AI to write in the prompt and have it do it for me. Wouldn't that be amazing? It's basically about a champion that has this aura of real dominance, but his fights are actually quite close. And I look at the game plans of his opponents and try to and kind of do a what was good, where did it fall apart thing. It's hard to explain in so few words. Maybe I'll just send the intro to Discord. Yeah, sure. It sounds interesting, though. It's nice to have an angle. Would you rather have unlimited bacon, bacon with no limit, but no games, or games, unlimited games, games with no limits, and no games? The first one, I guess. 15 years from Skyrim next year? That's fucking insane. Do you want the script to exist? Yeah, exactly. As in 15 years since Skyrim came out would be a good video idea. I wasn't just staying effect. But I did that for 10 years. Do I do it again? I re-release it. Wait, that'd kind of be good. Wait, that'd kind of be really meta. Maybe I should. AI Moellum. Maybe I should do that. Right, look, let's wrap things up. It's 11 p.m. I'm tired. This has been good. I'm gonna make a response to your Skyrim video just so you have to redo it. Okay, no, I am actually gonna wrap up. I'm just gonna read chat. Okay. I'll see you in the week. Probably at the weekend, actually. I reckon, like, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe Sunday. I reckon Sunday. I'll have my Christmas tree up. We'll sit down. We'll go through the Game Awards nominees. We'll go through all of those, vote on everything, and then I'll start Silksong. I think that's my plan. Don't hold me to it, because maybe I won't be live Sunday, but in my head, that feels like a good plan. That sounds like a good plan. I might get to Sunday and feel so miserable that I don't want to get out of my bed, which could absolutely happen. That's been happening a lot recently, but maybe it won't. Maybe I'll feel good, and I'll want to do that and play Silksong. So, Love you all. Thank you for joining me for this wonderful time we've had together. And I will see you all maybe Sunday. If not, I'll see you on Patreon soon, and I'll see you in the end of the year video. So, good stuff. And if not, if I don't stream Sunday or whatever, if I don't, then I will be live for the Game Awards. No matter what, I will be live. I will drag myself here to be live for the Game Awards, I promise you. I'll get myself some alcohol, and I'll power on through. But yeah, good shit. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.